Hello, good evening. Welcome along to the Super Series from the Live Lounge here in Portsmouth, where Group B comes to a culmination by the end of play this evening, and the final identities through to finals night will be confirmed. As you can see, the fancy dress on one side of the studio has departed on this Friday, but Glenn, you could have got rid of the Dracula's outsuit, whatever it's called this evening.
That's easy for you to say, and with that shirt, I think I would just stay there.
Let's talk about this afternoon. Let's talk about Group C. Anton Ersland has had a trying week, a tough week at times, but managed to get his way through in the end.
It was a Group C that lacked a little bit of quality on day one. But, today it was full of drama. Anton Ersland, we had a great interview. He speaks really, really well, and he doesn't show the passion on the hockey that he was in here, because watch this moment here. That was the realisation that he's just qualified. That's the passion, Henry, that I want to see him when he's throwing darts, when he hits a 180, when he hits it. Look at that. He's got a great personality. He was really beautiful to talk to. I'd like to see a little bit more of that on the hockey.
So, Anton Ersland through alongside Scott Baker. So, they are going to be into tomorrow night's final alongside Kurt Parry, who won Group A on Wednesday afternoon. And as far as Scott's concerned, the dominant force of Group C, the rightful winner, and a real contender when it comes to tomorrow night.
He was, but when you look at the stats, I still think he needs to find an extra couple of gears. I mean, he was a comfortable winner. Didn't average over 87, Henry, and he's got a lot more to come. He was in a group where it was full of methodical, slowish players, so that won't have suited him. So bizarrely, despite the fact that he dominated the group, I don't think he'll have been 100% happy knowing Scott that he topped the group like he did. But he knows the job is get to Saturday and the competition starts there.
Right, that's Group C done and dusted. This evening is all about Group B, and this is what happened yesterday.
Tough afternoon for Luke. Probably a tough night for Shane Haywood, because Scott Taylor is on the home stretch. He's 2 away. Bullseye for a spectacular finish, and what a way to finish. Scott Taylor.
Positions he found himself in a lot of legs against Marvin van Velzen. Having to take out shots like this to stand a chance in the game. And he finds the 103 there into the top right hand. He's at a double.
He's been extremely impressive tonight. Does he go for it? Why not? He has been magnificent tonight.
3-2 Van Velzen, and that more is because he knows he found himself in a pickle. He got his way out of it. Well, it was pretty much the perfect evening for Marvin van Velzen on Thursday night here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. The defending champion playing more like the man that picked up the trophy here in August.
Yeah, it was full of quality. I've just been number crunching for the past hour or so. And Marvin didn't do anything spectacular. He just did what he had to do. And it's been sort of a new experience for him coming here as a reigning champion. Chatting with him, he said life feels a bit different even when he goes to local league, etc. But 4 wins out of 4, job well done.
He's going to touch upon that in an interview that we did with him in a few moments' time. But as far as another champion is concerned, Scott Taylor, if you look at his numbers, he was the best player last night, but perhaps ran into 1 or 2 inspired performances, particularly against Mark Dudbridge.
Yeah, and let's go to 9 o'clock in the morning Monday when he walked in and said, I have absolutely no idea I'm playing. And then he pings finishes like that stunning 167 there. I think he's been absolutely fantastic. I think he was unlucky to only get the couple of wins last night. Real quality there, high ceiling. The type of player, very dynamic, loves match play, very aggressive. That coming Saturday night, he's got a big part to play. He's got a job to do tonight, but I expect him to qualify.
So this is how the table looks. Van Velzen is the dominant force, 8 points to his name. Taylor, Dudbridge, Haywood all picked up 2 wins apiece on night 1. Gary Stone at the bottom of the pile. It feels like Gary's got a long way back. For the other 3, it's pretty much all in play.
Yeah, it looks like 2 from 3 with Marvin qualifying there. So Gary Stone, what a dangerous floater though. I mean, he does not lose 8 out of 8. I mean, he'll be absolutely furious that he lost 4 games last night. I was really disappointed in him. He was shaking his head a lot. He was like a wry smile when people hit a treble 20. He was talking a really good game beforehand. It's not necessarily the darts that let him down. His doubling was really poorly. It was his demeanour that disappointed me.
Right, let's have a look at the odds for tonight's session. Marvin van Velzen goes off the 3-10 favourite, very heavy favourite. That's because he's got a 4-point lead at the top of the table. Realistically, it doesn't look like he's going to get caught unless he has a disaster of a night really tonight.
I mean, there's such good players. You would expect that to be, wins over them. I mean, the only value there is Scott Taylor for me. But yesterday, I thought the player of the night was Mark Dudbridge. Very similar to Scott Taylor. No idea how I'm playing. He's been doing a couple of exhibitions at the seaside, and but that's about it. I think it was excellent last night. I really did. Thought he scored big. Had that sublime 164. Very impressive.
If Van Velzen looks set to make it through, who look like the other two that join him?
It's a really tough call. Shane Haywood started with 2 losses, then had the 2 wins there. If I had to pick one, the winner of the match between Dudbridge and Haywood could be deciding factor. I really think Scott Taylor will get through. So watch out for the game of Haywood versus Dudbridge. That'll be a huge game.
See, I could be a very harsh man and ask you who wins that, but I'm going to lay off you tonight. 18+, gambleaware.org, if you're going to have a flutter on the Super Series this evening. To our first game of the session, and it sees the defending champion, Marvin van Velzen, in action. It's fair to say that his starting life has changed since picking up that title. A 4-3 victory against Jimmy Van Schie at the back end of August has catapulted him into the eyes and into the attention of the darting world. Hasn't gone to plan at times this week, but it looks like he's getting better as proceedings move along. His first assignment this evening is Mark Dudbridge, who has shown flashes of brilliance over the course of this Group B campaign, but he's looking to correlate performances into results. And early on this evening, I caught up with the defending champion. Well, Marvin, yesterday was as good as nights go, doesn't it, at the Super Series?
Yeah, there wasn't that. Scoring was well, and doubling was a bit scrappy, but still, good confidence to get over the line tonight.
In terms of this week, has it felt like you've got better as the days have gone along?
I don't know, to be honest. I'm just playing like match by match and just try to get to play my best games. And if it don't, and just accept it. And then if you win, you win. You're happy with it. And if you don't, you have to move on to the next game.
What's it been like playing as the defending champion? Does it feel different? Does there feel like maybe different pressures that are on your shoulders now?
No, sometimes when I look the matches back, then I think like, oh, wait, that's some other commentary than I'm normally getting. But yeah, when I'm playing, it's just, focus on your game and, just winning the games. That's the most important. But yeah, I'm a bit more relaxed now during the week.
Interesting you say it. So do you feel like from your perspective, your goals, your ambitions, the way that you play the game hasn't changed one bit since winning it, but maybe people from the outside maybe have changed the way they viewed you as a darts player?
Yeah, but also when I see locals, some people are a bit looking different to you than normally when you won before. They know you're a good player, but not that many achievements. But now, some different eyes on it.
How have you embraced being champion? How much have you enjoyed having that trophy?
Yeah, amazing. Amazing too. When I went back home, I was very tired on the Sunday evening, and and then I come on my home pub with fireworks and everything on it. So yeah, that was amazing to experience that.
Well, hopefully some fireworks from you tonight, Marvin. Good luck.
Thank you.
And the defending champion is involved in the opening game of the night session. He takes on Mark Dudbridge, a repeat of the final fixture of Thursday, which Van Velzen won by 4 legs to 2. It was a high-quality encounter. Van Velzen averaging just a shade under 95 in that match, was 50% on his finishing. Dudbridge played some really good stuff yesterday, and in fact, behind Scott Taylor, had the best numbers of Thursday night. He was next best. But for Van Velzen, the 24-year-old from Porzijk in the Netherlands, the reigning champion, of course, looking to make it through to Champions Week. Only Luke Littler has won the title and got through to a subsequent Champions Week up against the 51-year-old Bristolian Mark Dudbridge, the twice-weekly semi-finalist. Flash looking for a flurry of brilliance on this Friday evening. Had the only ton plus average last night, that coming in his 4-1 win against Scott Taylor. Started the night superbly, 2 wins from 2. Lost his last couple. But defeats is something that Marvin hasn't been dealing with in Group B. It tends to be the group where he really does shine, and he's doing so again here. Jack Garwood from Nottingham in England, established referee of the world level, in charge of tonight's action. And we're watching the action in the company of the former Premier League champion, Glenn Dowen. Hi, Glenn.
Hi, Henry. Good evening, everybody.
59.
Really interesting night last night, and a good night for that man in your picture. And let me tell you, we've been doing a few things just prior to this game, and Marvin van Velzen, it has to be said, looks very comfortable. He knows 12 points will be enough tonight, a couple of wins. It's a strong possibility even 10 points might be enough. But just picking up a couple of things from the interview that you had, Henry, he just takes one game at a time. He didn't accept the fact that he's not been playing any better than he did on Monday. He accepted he's going to have the highs and the lows. He also agrees that it's now expectation. Now he's got that big title. I thought it was a very mature
44.
response to the questions you were asking him.
It was interesting that he feels like other people are putting a different pressure on him because of the trophy that he's won, but he within himself is keeping his expectation levels exactly the same. He is not going to change because he's won a particular trophy.
Yeah, I think the other players in this group, barring Gary Stone, I think he's looking for a miracle, really.
140.
Would like to see Marvin win all four again and let the others battle it out between themselves. So we'll keep you updated with all the permutations as we go along, but pretty simple for Marvin.
59.
A couple of wins and he's through.
He's got off to a decent enough start. He's got just about the ascendancy on throwing this opening leg. But a second treble there for Mark leaves him first to a finish.
Yeah, player of the night for me was Mark Dudbridge. I was not expecting the performances, and only one element of the game. Really disappointed. He was very, very poor on the doubles, a long way
97.
from where he'd want to be, just round about the 24% mark, way down on the other players. If you can sort that out, who knows?
Well, it was a night blighted by missed doubles. As a matter of fact, of the 5 players in the field, only Scott Taylor
92.
had a ratio of more than 1 out of 3 when it came to their doubling. But Van Velzen an opportunity here, 192 to take out the opening leg. And when it comes to pivotal moments and pivotal finishes, expect Marvin just to take a second or two, just to compose himself, to ready himself.
80.
So I'm going to take it out there. And now he has to watch in the background as Dudbridge looks to break. And he's going to get 2 darts at tops.
Game shot on the first
That's
leg.
the one
Mark
issue.
Dudbridge.
I'm just wondering, Henry, if he realised the mistakes, that his scoring looks absolutely fine. His board management's good. His presence looks really good. But his doubles weren't at the mark he'd expect. And he'd be delighted. Just a little breaker through early doors. And I guess every win over Marvin van Velzen will feel like double points.
Well, if Dudbridge does win this game, he moves on to 6 in the group. He's the first player that can really strike a blow. And he actually plays 2 of the first 3 games this evening. So he has got an opportunity, if he can win his first couple here against Marvin and then against Shane Haywood in game 3, he can move on to 8 points and really restrict what those in and around him can do. As Van Velzen piles in the first maximum of the evening session.
Yeah, a reduced amount of players group. His group B was 32 180s last night. And already early in this game, Van Velzen adds to that number.
That is a perfectly situated 4th dart. 6 of the best for Marvin van Velzen. He's 2/3 of the way towards the 9.
He's our champion. A proud champion. He's come into this Group B campaign and he wants to do something special. Are we about to witness something really, really special?
Well, when he won the title, he hit a 9-darter in Group B of the qualification week. In fact, he's the only player to have hit a 9-darter in a series to then go on and win that particular series.
108.
That Max pretty much a dead cat. Doesn't really do anything in terms of making inroads. Van Velzen threatening an 11-dart break here. Tops for a level match. Tops goes. And Van Velzen really does look in the mood here. Level at 1 apiece. And looking in the groove. His mannerisms were pointing towards a good night tonight. And if he can keep throwing like that, then he may well pick up maximum points again.
He has a real air of authority about him. He seems to be walking just a little bit more slowly in retrieving the dart. Almost a menacing
81.
smile on his face as he's throwing the darts.
Well, Marvin with a couple of maximums there. Had the most 180s of any player on Thursday night. 8 of them across his 4 games,
96.
which averages out at 2 a game. In terms of his overall numbers, 88.27 was his running average for the evening. 16 from 53 in terms of his doubles. That equates to a number of in and around 30%.
58.
And when he was good last night, he was very, very good. And if you look at his numbers throughout the course of the evening, it did feel like
48.
he was moving in an upward trajectory as the game came to a close. Or as the night came to a close, shall I say.
Yeah, just a little demonstration of background there from Mark. I think he just feels like his
85.
follow-through's not going as he planned to do. His scoring power is what we were talking about. We were
92.
waxing lyrical about it all night. That's just the one area at the beginning of this game. The scoring power pack is already building up for Marvin van Velzen. It's almost like a smile on his face, isn't it, Henry?
He's playing so much more
134.
relaxed. It's almost as if he's playing with the shackles off. I mean, we asked him in that interview, did he feel the pressure of being a champion? And he
105.
kind of shrugged that question off a little
Marvin, you
bit.
require 143.
Yeah, I thought they were very mature answers. It's been a mature performance so far. You can't check out in the 143. But he can leave it pretty, and pretty it is.
119.
Are we about to see something
Mark, you
special in a
require
164 from Mark
106.
Dudbridge yesterday? This one arguably is easier, but you need that first treble to go in. Van Velzen back to take a 2-1 lead.
100.
But what he didn't get by a hit with
Marvin,
dart
you
1 was a
require
perfect marker for
24.
dart 2 and dart 3 to apply pressure on Van Velzen, who has 3 in his hand at double 12 to open up a 2-1 lead. He was broken in leg 1.
12.
However, he has missed
Mark,
3
you require
opportunities
6.
to move in front for the first time in this contest.
As he sorted these problems out with the doubles, it was double 10 in the first leg.
55. Marvin, you require 12.
Well, that was the story of his night last night. When he was put in that position, he was unable to capitalise by and large. He needed a couple of chances to cross the finishing line in legs, Mark Dudbridge. And Van Velzen will return for double 6 to open up a 2-1 lead.
Yeah, really slower than normal. We've been talking about how composed and how cool he is. But I think it was just a little bit awkward this time. And this is awkward.
6.
I was never comfortable,
Mark,
Henry,
you require 5.
for the length of the time he was taken.
I've got a question for you on that in the next leg, but let's see if Dudbridge can take out this 5 first. Shouldn't be anywhere near winning this leg.
1.
And he
Marvin,
still
you require
hasn't won the
6.
leg. Van Velzen returns for double 3.
2 from 13 between the pair of them. And once again, we often see this strategy by Van Velzen, but add another 5 to 10 seconds of how long he's taken. I don't think it's suiting what he wants to do, but that certainly is.
Marvin van Velzen.
It is a strategy that he uses, and often to his success. It's normally about 2 to 4 seconds.
4 flag. It's Mark
But
to
that
the
looked
first.
awkward, around about 10
Game
seconds,
on.
and I just think he was overthinking the problem.
That's exactly what I was going to ask. Is there a difference between composing yourself and overthinking the situation? And if so, how fine is that margin?
57.
It's almost like he's working on his game. If he's not going to throw that a dart until he is ready.
$58.
A chance here for Dudbridge. Trebleless for the pair of them. Not any longer. I tell you what, if you're a 180 backer in this Group B,
140.
already 3 in this match already. It's 32 on in yesterday. It's a Group B full of quality. And a Group B where they know where that treble 20 is.
140.
Well, we said yesterday it was a group that could not disappoint, and it didn't yesterday.
Just the Gary Stone issue. I mean, he had that option. We talked about the fact that it's Mark Dudbridge
40.
today, where you're playing 2 games in the opening 3. That can lay the foundation for a fantastic night. But for Gary Stone, it was the roles reversal. Losing those first 2 games, going back and having to maybe think about the situation. Then you get into the realms of a must-win game on night 1.
$31.
Van Velzen has 6 starts here from 208 to get the breaker throw and to open up a 3-1 lead as Mark Dudbridge shakes out his throwing arm. What could that boil down to, Glenn?
Yeah, I can understand. I mean, look, they've been in the venue a couple of hours now.
43.
This is not them walking in at 5 to 10 to play at 10 o'clock, so they'll have gone through their routines. But Dudbridge doesn't look as comfortable as he was yesterday.
100.
And you often still shake your hands and look at your elbow after a low score. You don't often see it when they've hit a ton or a 140.
$31. Mark, you require 133.
Well, it's been a bit of a sluggish start for this pair, hasn't it, in this opening game? It hasn't quite lived up to maybe the
57.
expectations that were laid
Marvin, you
because of the
require
quality of yesterday's session. But
134.
maybe it just needs a moment to really light up the spark, to light up the blue touch paper. But the 134 isn't going to be the moment where the blue touch paper gets lit.
94. Mark, you require 76.
One dart.
Big dart.
36. Marvin,
This
you
now.
require 40.
A great chance of Van Velzen. If he pins his tops, he's 3-1 to the good, and he has the throw for the match. And with a win here, he's pretty much as good as through.
Game shot on the 4th leg.
Hasn't been the
Marvin
prettiest
van
of performances
Velzen.
so far for Marvin van Velzen. But he's got the break. He's 3-1 to the good.
5th leg.
And now
It's Marvin
throwing
to throw
for
first.
10 points.
Game on.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident in saying, Henry, that because of those players on 4 points behind, the fact they'll be playing each other, a win here for Marvin van Velzen, and he becomes the 4th qualifier
92.
for Saturday night. And it's
Because of the way the fixtures pan out, if Van Velzen gets to 10, because Gary's on 0, there is a mathematical possibility that in a Group B, 4 players can get to 10 points. But because of the way the fixtures pan out and map out, that is not the case this evening. So 10 points is enough for a player to get through tonight.
85.
Yeah, we try to offer you some different camera angles just to see what they see from the eye line. Just the way the dart is sitting. Very standard way of throwing a dart is Mark Dudbridge. So they sit up
100.
perfect. If he's going to miss that treble 20, he doesn't mind it just being above. And very similar to Marvin van Velzen, who has that real backswing, almost Joe Cullen-esque, right to the right-hand side.
81.
That's absolutely plump.
99.
So 6 starts and 2-4-3. That's the kind of stat we're saying about these players now. A nice little 140 or 180.
140.
Be back for the match.
Well, he's kicking towards the line, isn't he, Marvin van Velzen? He's seen himself in a position where he can get this game won, and he's doing his utmost to do it without any kind of fuss whatsoever. He's left himself on 103, which was taken out by Gary Stone
58.
last night,
Marvin, you require
to put himself in a position
103.
where he would qualify for tomorrow night's final.
Needs a treble.
83.
He will be back.
Mark, you require 144.
Hasn't been the performance we thought we'd get from Mark Dudbridge. But you just need a moment. It's all about timing.
126.
That would have been a flash of brilliance.
Marvin,
But
you
this
require
for a
20.
space in tomorrow night's final. The defending champion, Marvin van Velzen, who climbed to the Super Series summit back in August when he beat Jimmy Van Schie in the Series 8 final. will return to the
and the
Saturday
match,
night
Marvin
fold.
van Velzen.
The defending champion is one step closer in his quest to defend his crown. The first step of the journey has been completed by qualifying through to Saturday night's final. The next task is to win it, and in doing so, becoming just the second defending champion to qualify for the Champions League on their defence. Van Velzen, a 4-1 winner against Mark Dudbridge, and that is enough for the Dutchman, the defending Super Series champion, to book his passage through to Saturday evening showpiece. Van Velzen 4, Dudbridge 1. The Marvin Army can book their spaces through to the live lounge tomorrow night. Gary Stone and Scott Taylor follow after this short break.
It's Phil, the Haywood Taylor. Dazzler, Glenn Durant. Game, shot, and a match. It's Wolfie, Martin, Adam. Jackal King of Bling, the Dazzler, Bobby George. Game, shot, and
Welcome back to the Modus Super Series in this highly anticipated Group B, and we have our fourth qualifier. We had a fabulous Group C run today, and Marvin van Velzen has joined the party, the reigning champion, 4 out of 4 overnight. It was a match, it was a bit stop-start against a disappointing Mark Dudbridge, but he got over the line, and many congratulations to Marvin, and it's all smiles on the hockey at the moment. Scott Taylor, I think, has to be delighted the way he's played. Finished second in a brilliant group here. One of the best Modus Super Series performances I've ever witnessed from Kurt Parry in a really tough group to get 26 points. But just right behind him was Scott Taylor, who was producing some phenomenal numbers
First
himself
leg,
against
it's Gary to throw first. Game on.
Gary Stone, and it just feels like it's the usual response whenever I'm sort of commentating on Gary. He's comes with a big reputation. He's in absolute fine form.
134.
But just had one of those nights. It was just one of those horror nights he wants to forget, losing all 4. It's going to be some task, Henry. I mean, there's no one better than you sitting there and seeing players after losing 4 in a Group B, but he's going to have to win big tonight and maybe hope on others.
123.
Well, you look at his numbers for yesterday, they were competitive, but everybody seemed to have something more. In matter of fact, his
43.
opponents had a better average than Gary in every single game Yes, with the exception of the match against Mark Dudbridge in the middle of the programme, and that was because Mark missed 14 darts at a double. His overall numbers for yesterday, the average, the scoring stakes, wasn't bad at all, 85.89, but the glaring problem was his doubles, 7 from 34.
86.
That equates to just 20% at the outer ring, and ultimately that was what came back to cost him, but he's got off to a terrific start here against Scott Taylor.
97.
Taylor, who won this game 4-0 yesterday. Gary could well get his first chalk on the board against the former champ here. If he could take out this 66.
What happened in 66, Gary? That's what we always say to a Scotsman.
Game shot
He
on the
replies
first
with a
leg.
beautiful
Gary
finish.
Stone.
That's what he can do. I mean, I put this mic in my hands, and at the same time, I've always been a big fan of Gary Stone.
Second
He gave me a
leg, it's
few
Scott to
beatings
throw
when I
first.
was at my best.
Game on.
I always felt he was just on a pathway for success, and he can still get that. He's only 43-year-old. Absolutely
57.
magnificent in the ADC Nationals last week, from playing Kevin Garcia in round 1 all the way to just missing out to Thomas Banks in
85.
a match he'll have felt he'll have had a big chance in that one, and just 6-5 for the £8,000 prize.
And we're going to watch a lot of Gary Stone here
100.
between now and the end of the year. He's qualified for the Championship Tour Finals. That's going to be taking place over 2 weekends. The Women's Tour Finals is next Saturday at 12:30. The men's
60.
is on the 16th of November at 12:30. And Gary Stone's going to be the number 4 seed for that particular tournament. He's going to play Darryl Pilgrim in a mouth-watering first-round clash as Scott Taylor pins the first maximum of this particular contest. And then Gary will be back here at the Global
82.
Championship
Scott, you
in
require
December, qualifying
164.
by placing second in the ADC Order of Merit behind Thomas Banks. He also qualified, of course, through the Championship Tour. We'll have more on that later on in the evening.
140.
The 180s are just racking
Scott,
up,
you
but I do
require
remember a Group B
104.
campaign where Scott Walters, I think it's 16 in one night.
He's always had a night where he hit 8-ton plus checkouts.
Seems to be the go-to way now
80.
on a
Gary, you require
104 finish. Treble 18 seems to be the go-to for Gary Stone. We can see his reaction to that decision. Taylor will be back for double 12.
40.
A grimace
Scott,
from
you
Gary, but
require
this could be a
24.
leveller for Taylor if he could pin double 12. Double 6, not a
Game shot on the
problem, and
second
the
leg,
former
Scott
champion
Taylor.
is back level, 1-1.
Third leg, it's Gary to throw first. Game on.
What do you think of the shirt of Scott Taylor tonight? He looks like a jester.
Who would dress like that?
100.
Well, nice to see Scott Taylor paying homage to Watford Football Club this evening.
121.
Elton John used to be their owner.
And I thought TGI's story was boring.
131.
But for Gary Stone, it could be goodbye yellow brick hockey by the end of play tonight if he is eliminated from proceedings.
100.
Tidy game, this one. Do you have much hope of Gary Stone qualifying tonight?
Has to win 4 from 4. Has to win 4 from
60.
4. If he drops a game, I think it's over. But he's got 2 problems. The points deficit and the legs difference deficit. So yes, he has to win 4 from 4, but Scott Taylor's possibly the one you can win 4-3 and get away with. But
58.
in one of those games, and maybe both of the games between Dudbridge and Haywood, he's going to have to win handsomely. Just to cut that gap.
137.
Taylor's not his target, it's Dudbridge and Haywood. And particularly Mark Dudbridge because he's played a match and lost tonight.
Yeah, just wish he'd had this mentality. Yes, he looks really focused. I hope it's not too little too late.
96. Gary requires
Fully
73.
expected Scott Taylor to qualify tonight, but Gary Stone could just play that role of a bit of a spoiler. It's tops for a 2-1 lead.
53. Scott, you require
Taylor took out 4 ton plus
126.
checkouts yesterday, the most of anybody in the group. This for a potential breaker throw-in to have a real stranglehold of this contest. He'll stay there. The treble would have left the ball. Stone will come back. 3 darts in hand at double 10
54.
for a 2-1
Gary
lead.
required 20. Game shot on the
Just a
third
reminder,
leg,
Gary Stone, 20% on the doubles last night. His scoring was up there. So the
Fourth
two
flag,
things I
it's
was
Scott to
questioning
throw
was just his
first.
attitude, his
Game on.
demeanour, and most certainly his doubles. He seems to have corrected that issue. 2 from 3 on the outer
100.
ring. Good start here for the Scotsman.
There's a possibility that Gary Stone could do a
100.
very unique double at the end of the year because he's going to be the number 11 seed for the Lakeside, which takes place at the end of November, the beginning of December, and he'll go straight
100.
from Frimley Green to the Blue City of Portsmouth to play in the ADC Global Championship. There is a possibility he could be the WDF World Champion and the ADC Global
121.
Champion by the end of the year.
Yeah, £50,000 to the winner at Lakeside this year.
58.
Although if Gary Stone wins this week, then Champions Week falls on the same week as Lakeside.
108.
Stone hits a max.
See.
Tell you what, Henry, the amount of 180s, I think we'll be getting the record books out soon.
100.
Tops. There's the first,
60.
but clipped just over the bar
Scott,
for the
you
second.
require
What
63.
an effort. And Scott Taylor has his own way of going. It's pretty traditional with the 13s. Tops to get level.
Game shot on the fourth
Cracking
flag.
game.
Scott Taylor.
Really good game. And Gary Stone might have that mentality once again. When you get an opportunity against him,
Fifth flag. It's Gary
seems
to
to
throw
be all
first.
fun between them.
Game on.
Maybe that's the secret, Henry, for Gary, just to try and enjoy it just a little bit.
119.
But Gary can play with that air of relaxation. He's got that kind of free roll, hasn't he? Nothing to lose. Scott plays with this
60.
uber relaxed nature about him.
Yeah, we had that issue on Tuesday. Me and Henry
44.
were in the comms for that one where I just felt Scott Taylor was almost boiling over. There's a limit you can have with your emotion, and he was attempting to punch the dartboard. He was throwing with such aggression, such ferocity. But I think as the week's gone on, it was something that myself and Chris Murphy spoke about before the dart was thrown. He openly admitted he's not playing an awful lot, but because of the quality, because of his CV, he's the type of player that 5-6 days on the spinner playing that you're just going to get better and better.
He's got this innate natural ability as Scott Taylor, which is why we kind of had that conversation last night as to
134.
how and why he's not achieved more in the game, because he has got those gears and those levels to be a real top player. As has Gary Stone, and he's utilising it to some degree here. He's left himself on double 12 after drive. He's actually ticking his average above the ton mark here.
100.
And this
Gary
for a 3-2
required
lead.
24. Game shot on the fifth flag. Gary Stone.
What an all-round performance this is from Gary Stone. On one side of the coin, he'd be
flag,
absolutely
it's
delighted
Scott
it's
to
going
throw
like this
first.
there, but I'm sure at the back
Game
of his
on.
mind, Henry, is the fact that was all the damage done yesterday.
60.
3-2 to Gary Stone, a leg away from the win.
134.
This is impressive. If it is playing a spoiler
59.
role, and Scott Taylor is the big loser in this contest. Or is it the spark, that catalyst that Gary Stone's been searching for, as Henry alluded to
57.
win those 4 games that he needs tonight? Interesting enough that Gary's got a bit of a break, and then he comes up against Shane Haywood. That's a game he'll go into his
45.
favourite.
Yet to see Shane tonight, he takes on Mark Dudbridge in the next, who's now on a 3-game losing streak, having won his
100.
first 2 of the group. Following that defeat to Marvin van Velzen in the opening game of the evening session. Now, we can let you into this because they have posted about it on social media. The players were involved in a little bit of a challenge early on this evening.
125.
And in that challenge, players would be able to finish on this number.
100.
you want to elaborate? Or is it full stop?
Well, there's a couple of eye emojis on the Super Series Twitter account, and I'll leave the eyes to be had. The raise of the eyebrow there from Scott
60.
Taylor, but Gary Stone,
Gary
110
require 110.
for 4-2 win, his first win of the group.
He's been superb from the first dart.
74.
Almost to the last.
Scott, you
Will
require
he be back? It's going to take
152.
something special here from Scott Taylor.
But here's a man who could come up with magic moments, but he's not going to come up with one there. The frustration just beginning to brim over a little bit for the man
Gary
from Bolton.
require
But this
36.
for the match for Gary Stone.
Game shot. And the
And in
match.
it goes, and Gary Stone finally picks up his first win. He gets the better of the former champion, Scott Taylor, by 4 legs to 2. It puts him on the board. It's going to have to be a perfect night for the Scot if he's going to make inroads, but that was the perfect start. A 4-2 win, an average just under 98, 50% on the doubles for Scott Taylor. Well, he's still in a decent enough position, but he will see one of Mark Dudbridge or Shane Haywood overtake him in the league table. It's the meeting between the players who are sat 3rd and 4th in this Group B ladder, and that ladder match is coming up after this short break.
Very good dart. He's done it. Not today.
Yeah, there was a chance, but there's no chance there.
FG's taken over here, and he's
Definitely not him. It's definitely
he thinks
not
it's
him.
it.
Hold on. Yeah, no, I'm not giving you that.
The back end of the leg here, and it's not going to go the way I thought it was there. I was about to mention the fact that we do have that rule in place.
That is a great marker. And a great win for Ginge, who goes through. Oh, he's found it away days. He couldn't find the treble, but he can find the doubles. And he's found himself in the next round. Great dart. And I can't help but think that double 7 up. And he's found it. Sean Nyland has knocked out Darts for Fun, the favourite for the singles competition and the winner of the pairs.
I think is too bad an idea considering how the first 18 darts have gone for Ellis.
Is this the first time we're seeing tag team darts?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Making the most of it, lads.
Time supporter and friend
Okay,
of
no,
Ellis.
maybe not. Not 1 second. Okay. Up we
Hold
come.
on.
What's
We're
your
doing the
name?
same now.
Okay, Jaden, you require 74.
He knows where he's going. 56, double 20. Oh, that's a good effort. That's a very good effort. He throws a lovely dart. I think we should send one of them down and let one of them play against Jaden.
It's
a good dart.
Plenty of dartboard to use for one of the most unorthodox ways you'll ever see a semi-final being won.
And that is good.
Nervy game and nervy encounter. He is the favourite now to go on and win it, and he's trying to get struggled today with a bit of nerves. And that extra moment, that little bit of pause, that little bit
Second dart.
calm down a little bit, just to relax into the game.
Oh, hold on. Yay! We have the first one coming into it, sir.
One of them things either loves or hates in a darts time. And he loves it! But that is...
It's Angry Jim!
Welcome back. Before the break, Gary Stone got the better of Scott Taylor by 4 legs to 2 in our second match of the evening session here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. A first win of Group B for Gary Stone. Our third game sees Mark Dudbridge and Shane Haywood go toe-to-toe. Dudbridge's already played tonight. He's already lost to Marvin van Velzen to a 4-1 scoreline. Up against Haywood, the 49-year-old from Wrexham, weekly runner-up for the last time he was here. And he, after a sluggish start to the evening session, actually had a roles reversal of a night to Mark Dudbridge. He lost his first 2 before winning the final 2 of the evening session to see him on to 4 points going into tonight's session. Game 3 sees England and Wales go toe-to-toe. For Mark
First leg, it's
Dudbridge,
Mark to throw first.
he is looking to snap
Game on.
a 3-game losing streak.
Yeah, it was a strange old game between them yesterday with 10 points in the averages to the loser. Mark Dudbridge just
57.
averaging just shy of 88. A sublime, beautiful 164 in that game. But it was fair play to Shane Haywood because it didn't start very well last night. Lost his opening 2 games and lost them quite heavily as well. But he bounced back, and those 2 wins, he'll have gone to bed very satisfied with a night's work. But it's worrying times right now for Mark Dudbridge.
57.
It's almost pretty much a must-win for him, just to stop the rot.
Well, he's falling foul. That does a curse, isn't he? You tipped him as the best player of last night.
6.
And if he loses this game, it could be teetering on the tungsten tightrope.
Another dig there from Henry. No matter what I do, he has to just throw a dig in.
59.
Oh, I've just started. Anyway, how was your TGI Fridays tonight? Or your dinner you didn't invite me out to?
No, it was a bit of a team bonding. We all went to the local Italian. But you weren't
76.
told. Take the hint, Henry.
Hold on. So I've got an envelope on the. It has the phrase P45 on it.
140.
After 12 darts, here we're down to 102 and a potential break of throat.
137.
Good response from Dudbridge on
Require
throat.
102.
Shane Haywood on the back of 2 wins. Remember, 87 points left. He shakes his head, but it's not too bad. Treble 17 is still the shot. He won't be shaking his head now with double 18.
84. Mark, you require
So
115.
Dudbridge here looking at 115 to take out the opening leg of this contest. Triple 20 will leave in double 18. Not to be on this occasion. Haywood back for
43.
double 9 for the break of
Shane, you
throw in the
require
opening leg.
18.
Yeah, he's got that unique way of throwing the dart. That looks a good marker, but let me
9.
tell you, that was really
Mark, you
awkward.
require
At first, that
72.
was almost too good of a miss. And Dudbridge, I fancy, will have a dart or a double to take this opener. It's tops. He's been second best in this leg.
Shot on the first leg.
But
Mark
finishes with
Dudbridge.
real aplomb. Dudbridge leads 1-0.
Maybe what he needs just to
Second leg. It's Shane to throw
arrest the
first.
slide somewhat,
Game
Mark Dudbridge. A leg to it up on Shane Haywood. He's just one of those players that
140.
seemingly takes everything in his stride. He's not somebody that gets too high when things are going well, not somebody that gets bogged down when things go the counter. He just keeps a real level head, no matter
29.
what's happening in a game, no matter what point in a game.
Yeah, it's called experience. He's been there, done it, got the T-shirt.
125.
He knows with just one single dart like that, you can be back to where you want to be.
100.
A little bit wild, but a good response here from Haywood on throw. He lost his opening game 4-0 this time last night.
100.
So Haywood first to a finish in this second leg. Dudbridge a long way back, a long way
83.
behind.
Shane, you
Haywood
require
looking to level up
136.
with what would be a bit of a haymaker of a finish, but that first dart is a decent enough guide for a treble with dart 2, and now he will put it as safe as he
96.
possibly can to leave tops after 12.
Incredibly slow start to this game, Dudbridge. Maybe just the one highlight, but it was such an important one. It
125.
was 4 missed darts
Shane,
at
you
a double for
require
Haywood in
40.
the opener. No such
Game
problem
shot on
in the second. We'll level
Shane
after 2.
Haywood.
1-1 in our third contest of the night.
Third leg. It's Mark to throw first. Game on. $81. 97. $60.
There's definitely a decrease in pace of the game when Mark's getting on that stage right now. Wasn't as noticeable yesterday.
97.
Maybe it was just the fact that Gary Stone and Scott Taylor were embroiled in a super quick, super impressive previous game. Gary Stone will be on a real high in the still an awful lot for him to do. But Mark Dudbridge is looking to stop this 3-game losing streak. He was brilliant this time last night.
But this goes with perhaps the inconsistencies and perhaps the lack of level of consistency we will see with players like Mark. He's openly admitted, and the numbers back up, the games back up, that he doesn't play as often as he did do once years ago. But when it clicks, it really does
100.
click. And I suppose to a certain extent, you're almost hoping based on feel that something's going to go well for you.
I know you love your history of darts and everything, Henry, but
57.
do you remember Dudbridge winning that World Masters?
I was 18 months old, Glenn.
I said you like the history of the game, as in you'll have looked at videos. I mean,
yeah, I would have seen some
94.
bits, yes, on the YouTube.
right, Glenn writes, no, don't ask Henry any questions because he's in one of those moods tonight.
Good.
100. Mark, you
Dudbridge
require
1-2-2 to open up a 2-1 lead. Single leads the ball, treble leads double 7 for the first top of the night.
Game
Delivered
shot on the
beautifully
third
by
leg, Mark
Dudbridge.
Dudbridge.
And that could be a moment for Mark Dudbridge, which puts him in the ascendancy of this
Fourth flag, it's Shane
contest.
to the
Thus,
first.
the race for qualification.
Yeah, 2 legs to 1 to Dudbridge and 2. Beautiful finish, 72 when he was really up against it in that first leg. You have to say 1-2-2 is always
60.
an extremely tough finish. We made it look incredibly easy there. Can he find that scoring boots from last night? Maybe he's the answer.
108.
When that first dart hits big, and then he has a couple of others that tend to follow.
Yes, you asked me at the
66.
beginning of the show who I thought would qualify. Well, I thought Scott Taylor would, but he's on the back of a sparkling display from Gary Stone. He'll be concerned because he's up
57.
next, and it hasn't worked out well from the timetable tonight because he plays Marvin van Velzen, who can play with that relaxed feel. And I said this was the game that was so important. I felt the winner of this one would go through and qualify.
47.
Flash stretching at the back of the stage, tried to get all the bodily components together.
140.
But he's power scoring in this leg better than he has done at any other point in the match. He's just beginning to click into gear a little bit more, is Mark.
85.
And he's got 6 of here
Mark,
to
you
get the
require
break.
124.
Doesn't need to go for the treble 18. Such a good marker. We talked about the word experience that he's
92.
been there. He never gets flustered. Never gets too excited when things are going his way. Lovely board management, and it really has put the afterburners on for a leg and a bit here. Nothing Haywood can do about it.
140. Mark, you require 32.
3-1 lead. The break and full control of this contest.
Game shot on the
14
fourth leg,
data for Mark Dudbridge. He leads by 3 legs to 1.
Fifth leg, it's Mark to throw first. Game on.
Well, a victory would be music to the ears of Mark Dudbridge for snapping a
100.
3-match losing streak. As for Shane Haywood, it'd be a horror star, and we thought we left all the horror for yesterday.
45.
You've had to put your trousers in the wash, haven't you, after what that cauldron did to you yesterday?
Yes, we watched it back, and I think you were
43.
purposely trying to get it to spit, so it has been noted. DRA will be in touch.
I've got to be relevant enough for people to even want to get in touch with me.
100.
Thursday to Saturday next week, Glenn, just in case you're wondering.
Yes, I announced it for you, so delighted for you.
And I'm on a midweek trip in the middle of it for work, just in case you really needed to be up to date with the diary.
No, not interested in the slightest, Henry. Difficult moments here for Haywood.
81.
One massive score here from Dudbridge, and that is begging for more. He'll be frustrated with that one.
83.
And after that first start, he'll be gutted.
That was kind of more a visit for Mark in the first match where he wasn't able to utilise a good guide too well. And what it has done is opened up an opportunity here for Shane Haywood, who should be looking at the 25 here. Does do, does find, and leads himself first to a finish as a result.
Steady response.
Require 170.
You still feel it's advantage Haywood, because this would be for a breaker throw. To really get back into this match, needs to treble, you feel. Gets one. Still favourite. You'd expect at least a dart to double on that 76. But Dudbridge likes the big finish. We saw the 164 last night.
100. Shane, you require 76.
But boy, did he have to be careful with dart 3 there. It's only going to be one dart for Shane Haywood at tops to extend this match.
36.
And he's unable to take it. Dudbridge returns to win it.
40.
It was a bit of a slow burn at the beginning for Mark Dudbridge. But just in the middle of this game, he really found his scoring boots. The finishing has been his success.
No score.
But when he needed it most.
Shane, you require 40.
Dudbridge missing a visit's worth of darts to win this contest. Haywood with a visit's worth of darts to save it, and he only needs the one. He gets the break back. The game returns to throw at 3-2.
Sixth leg. It's Shane to throw
Haywood
first.
with the darts in hand to take us to a last leg decider.
Our match can change just with a simple mystery dart or a double, because the psychology changes for Mark Dudbridge. The problem is when the player's fighting back and you see that 501 score again. But as we've touched on, he's been there so many times. He won't panic. Patience is key in situations like this. It's still advantage Dudbridge in this match. But Haywood's scrapping.
He's chipping away and chipping away at that lead, and it could well be whittled down to nothing in a few darts' time.
140.
But Dudbridge having none of the Haywood advances. This leg very much in the offing.
100.
You feel like Dudbridge needs a 2-triple turn here to really take command of this leg. And after dart 1, you expected a couple of bedfellows. He leaves himself a 1-2-1 to win it. This to save it.
Yeah, super leg of darts on both. When it comes down to the nitty-gritty, that's when you need it. And that nitty-gritty, you see what Shane Haywood thinks of that.
27. Mark,
Not for the first time in this match. Advantage Dudbridge to see this game out. Big 11 for double 14.
93.
And that would have joined the 1-2-2 in the Ton Plus Club. But this, for Shane Haywood, could well be his final opportunity to save this match. 1-3-4. Not to be, and so Mark Dudbridge to snap a 3-game losing streak has got 3 in hand. A double 14.
Mark required 28.
It's a double right in the eye line. And Dudbridge goes second.
Mark Dudbridge.
It was a bit of a slow burn at the beginning, but he found his mojo, he found his scoring boots. And despite missing match darts in leg 5, he gets there in the end. They'll have a little chat, just talk about the conclusion now, but doesn't he look calm, Mark Dudbridge? He was averaging round about 70 for the majority of that game, but really lifted that average to the mid-80s. And after that first defeat of the night, he's bounced back very, very nicely. The 1-2-2 being the highlight. Work to do for Shane Haywood as we move on to a really heavyweight clash. It's Scott Taylor against Marvin van Velzen.
The countdown is on for the ADC Global Championship, which will take place in December. The qualification period ran out yesterday, so these are the confirmed players. 4 qualifiers to come later on this month, but Thomas Banks, recent winner here of the Super Series, will be the #1 seed, and he's going to be in week 1 alongside Andreas Nicolai, Brian Roman, Andy Bolton, Sebastian Białecki and Dieter Hedman in Group A. Darryl Pilgrim, Bradley Brooks and Tony Martinez had qualified for the Group B. Conor Heenahan, the Irish qualifier, in Group C. Whilst in week 2, Gary Stone's going to be the #1 seed for that, and he's going to be joined in Group A alongside Marvin van Velzen, Donny Schuurwater, Adam Mould, Even Springboard Poulsen and Fallon Sherrick. In Group B, Joe Croft, Charlie Martin and John Deslamo, whilst the South African qualifier Johan Geldenhoyt in Group C will be joined by 2 other qualifiers. The finals will take place on December the 22nd here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. The winner will pick up the £25,000 top prize plus the title of Global Champion in the ADC. So that to look forward to towards the end of the year. It's all going to take place in this picturesque building, the superb, magnificent, majestic Modus Live Lounge in Portsmouth. And we now see a battle between 2 men that have picked up very large checks in this building. A check almost as large as Marvin van Velzen's watch. He picked up 25k when he beat Jimmy Van Schie in the final a couple of months ago. And he takes on Scott Taylor, who beat Tom Sykes, the Castleford Tiger, to lift his particular crown. It is our 4th game of the evening session, and it's going to be watched in the company of myself and Glenn Durrant. Hi, Glenn.
Take a breath now, please. We are getting really concerned. It's late.
Past my bedtime, Glenn. That's why I'm getting excited.
Well, one person who can get excited is that man in your picture, Marvin van Velzen. Once again, Scott Taylor's
First leg,
come
it's
onto the
Scott to go
stage full of
first.
smiles. But
Game
questions are now being asked because Scott Taylor was involved in a cracking game with Gary Stone, with Gary Stone getting over the winning line in that one. So it's a tough ask when you're saying to someone, you really do need a win here because you're up against someone who's unbeaten in this Group B. He's the reigning champion and can play free now. He knows he's qualified for Saturday night.
97.
And almost just see what the game's like when there's not that tension in your game.
A win for Van Velzen here. He tops the group.
140.
To be perfectly honest, it would take the best part of a miracle for him to be dislodged from the top of the tail. But it is possible.
100.
But a win here would dot the I's and cross the T's. Taylor looking to set up a finish in this opening leg.
100.
Always seems to start games strong, doesn't he, Scott? Always seems to leave himself something handy very quickly in the opening leg.
Yeah, just having a little word with himself. I'm just trying to work out why.
Scott, you require 121.
Maybe they thought they're not going down the bullseye with their last star, but it's advantage Taylor in this one. There is the bullseye attempt. Leads to 2 data. Excellent opening leg on throw.
Potential 14 data here. Van Velzen being punished for an uncharacteristically sluggish start to this game.
60.
12 dart
Scott, you
throw,
require
not on a finish.
56.
Taylor on for a potential 14 data. Tops. Bends the wire with dart 1.
16.
And usually that means a hit with dart 2, but there wasn't a necessity to get on this particular occasion. And it could well be one of those gains for Marvin because he knows he's qualified. We see it quite a lot.
Scott, you
That
require
natural
40.
adrenaline that's been coursing through your body can
Game on of
sometimes
first
wane
leg,
as a
Scott
result.
Taylor.
But Taylor not waning one bit. He leads 1-0, pinning the tops first time of asking.
Yeah, they've had some
Second
fantastic
leg,
games
it's Marvin
between
to
them
go
this week.
first. Game
I've
on.
really enjoyed the head-to-head. We had that incredible, probably the moment of the week for me, Henry, when when Scott
96.
Taylor hit the 170 and then no reaction at all from Marvin van Velzen because, to be fair, it was going into a game at 3 each. And Scott Taylor just stuck his tongue out
140.
to Marvin. But just speaking with Scott, he said Marvin's been absolutely fantastic. A credit to himself and he's been good fun, but He's got that really steely determination. He was very
59.
complimentary of Marvin, was Scott.
Good judge of character is Scott Taylor. Very popular in and around the circuit.
41.
But 2-2 in the head-to-head. So the winner of this game will have that advantage. Well, hopefully both get themselves to Saturday night.
And as we know, Saturday night's all right for
135.
flighting here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. I suppose in the Watford colours of Scott Taylor, it's probably the appropriate thing to
55.
talk about.
$171.
Beautiful setup for Marvin. He's left himself tots after 12.
Tickling the taste buds of our referee there, Jack Haywood. He's been
133.
absolutely fantastic this
Marvin,
week.
you require 40.
And I guess for a referee, when you're seeing darts like this, a potential 13 darter here.
Game Charlotte,
Right
second
smack
leg.
bang in the
Marvin
middle.
van
Enjoying
Velzen.
this one.
1-1. 13 darter for Van Velzen after the 16 dart
Third
hold of
leg, it's Scott
Taylor in leg
first.
one of the contest.
Game
We know
on.
Marvin van Velzen's going to be through to tomorrow night's final, and the
125.
large swathes of the Marvin army will be in support of him when it gets to the big finale. And Scott Taylor will harbour ambitions of being there.
Should we worry about Scott if he loses this game?
59.
Because it would be 2 losses on this deciding Friday, because he's played so well.
Could well be.
140.
But if you trust Scott Taylor to get through, you are part of the Marvin army. Scan that QR code. It takes you to a website called www.dartshot.tv, where you can ascertain tickets to the Super Series on any given
82.
Saturday. And we got a bit of a tungsten treat for you for the 2 Saturdays after this week. Because if you like value for money darts, then we've
60.
got quite literally just the ticket for you, because we'll have the Tour Championship finals, the women's on the 9th of November, the men's on the 16th of November, over the course of afternoon sessions. They kick off at 12:30 p.m. 2 sessions for the price of one, as Van Velzen cuts his score in half.
I just expected a 180 there. I was about to say, I didn't want to interrupt Henry there. I was about
40.
to say that even a maximum, Scott Taylor would still be in front, but that's a little bit of a lazy dart. The scores are 60 and 40 from Scott Taylor. Has brought this fabulous player back into contention. He was not happy with that one.
Well, anything that has gone wrong with this visit has
25.
gone wrong. He has left himself on a finish.
Scott, you require 136.
For this for 2-1. 136 for Taylor.
There's the snarl. There's the treble. Make that 2. That's the way to do it. Absolutely beautiful, Scott Taylor.
Well, Taylor had more Tub Plus finishes than anybody else
Fourth leg,
yesterday.
it's
4
Marvin
of
to
them
the
all
reverse.
told. His
Game on.
first one of the night, the 136, could be pivotal in this passage of play. He lost his first game. He needs to get a win on the board. He's 2 and up, but Van
140.
Velzen is throwing the proverbial kitchen sink at him.
I think it'd be a bit of a travesty if he doesn't qualify, Henry. He's got
100.
that ceiling, which, that dynamic style of a Saturday night, it feels like more of a knockout. And like I said, there's still a distinct possibility he doesn't get through this group because it is so tight. He'll still fancy his chances against Dudbridge and Haywood, but this would be a major win for him.
8 finals nights, 9 previous appearances in qualification weeks for Scott Taylor's. Only ever missed out on the big dance
93.
once. Van Velzen's actually bettered his record of qualifying through to a finals night to 3 from 4 appearances. He's done so in each of his previous 3.
Who was your winner before a dart was thrown on Monday?
100.
Yes, Henry is still here, everybody.
40. Marvin, you
I
require
thought Kurt Power was brewing
138.
to something, but I'll be honest, I thought Jim McEwen before dart was thrown.
Good on you. Good on you. It's a good answer.
Well, it's the wrong answer, but
60.
I like someone who just admits the one with Jim McEwen. It's a difficult that he won't be there.
92. Marvin, you
Looking good for
require
2-2.
78.
We've had some real belters between the pair of them. This one could go all the way. The fact that Scott Taylor has the dart, it could be a deciding factor in this game. Tops for 2-2.
58.
But he has got time on his side. Taylor not hitting with the heavy artillery that he has done in the previous couple of legs.
46. Marvin, you
himself on
require
130 by
20.
heading down to the 25. Van Velzen 2 10s for 2-2. Double 5. You can see the steely focus in his eyes, but his focus will be now on Scott Taylor, who pinned a 136 in the previous
No
leg.
score.
Can he back it up with a
Scott, you
130?
require
Well,
130.
his 100-plus finishes have been a real highlight for Scott. Arguably, this is his most important. Because when Scott Taylor goes 3-1 up, it's almost match point. Didn't expect that. I don't think he did. And I don't anticipate Van
115.
Velzen missing
Marvin,
this.
you
Couple of
require
bullseyes.
20.
Bit of a show off. But it's Van Velzen taking his time to go level.
Well, that was a load of ball there from Scott Taylor. Van Velzen looking at double 10 to equalise at 2-2. Double 5. We've been here before, haven't we? We've been inside before.
16.
Yes, that was
Scott,
not a
you
repeat of his
require
previous
50.
attempt. Well, I think they were almost on the button. Scott Taylor could see the anger and frustration in jest, but a big opportunity, and
Game's on the
Scott Taylor's
fourth leg.
finishing
Scott Taylor.
has been a real highlight.
Well, in terms of the finishing, it's
Fifth
kind
leg,
of been
it's
the
Scott
story
to
of Van
throw first.
Velzen's campaign.
Game on.
He was only 30% of the doubles last night. 1 from 6 here. Taylor's pinched his pocket to go 3-1 to the good, and now has the darts to win the match. And almost in Van Velzen fashion, just taking his time to approach the jockey ahead of the start of this 5th leg.
96.
Agree with that strategy? Or get on with it and just play your game?
I think there's a very fine line, because we can sometimes be hypocrites in this commentary box where we say that
70.
players rush and then we then criticise players for taking too long. There's got to be a balance that's been struck. And what it's got to be is, if you're going to take your time and compose, and it works for a lot of players, Rob
58.
Cross is a great example of it. It has to be what works for you, what steadies you. But if it gets to a point where you're then thinking about the time that you're taking to approach the jockey, that's probably where
135.
it can go wrong for a player.
So was that a yes or a no? Sorry.
I honestly think it's one of those horses for courses type issues. And look, it works for Marvin. It works for Marvin. But
140.
I don't think it's something we've really attributed to the game of Scott Taylor, though.
That's the point I was alluding to.
140.
Never write him off, though. We're a 171 here. Hence the reason going down on the 19s.
99. Marvin, you require 156.
This to save the match. Taylor poised on 108, which is very much in his wheelhouse. Another doesn't go, and this for Taylor to win it and
80.
inflict a
Scott, you
first
require
defeat
108.
upon Marvin van Velzen.
Yes, he's had a 136. He's had an attempt at a 130 where the first dart was the issue. He's going to get a match dart. His
Game
finishing
shot
is
and the match.
incredible.
Scott Taylor.
And what a win. We highlighted the importance of that game against the already qualified Marvin van Velzen. You just get the sense there from the Dutchman he wanted to go through this Group B campaign. But that is a massive win for Scott Taylor. He'll go into his next 2 games as a big favourite. His finishing has been absolutely brilliant. What a way to win it. And Marvin van Velzen has lost that unbeaten streak as Taylor gets a very important 2 points. Gary Stone's back up next. He plays Shane Haywood.
Hang on a minute.
Wow! Oh my God! Well, that's 100 quid down the drain already. Itching to hit the 180.
He's gone for the maximum.
18 for the bull. Bull.
53.
No, he said bull. That's a great first out from Adam. Oh, look at this. He's going to leave Scaife. Oh, can you believe it? That is unbelievable.
Match darts to put his team into the final. And through to the final they go. Charlie Murphy has hit the match-winning dart on both occasions. Double 4 for the title.
Please show your appreciation for the winner of the Influencer Pairs event, George Scaife and Adam Lipscomb.
He seems to be out, that's what he is, Charlie Murphy. A couple more visits yet. We're not going to need that.
Bosh.
Pie Face is through.
And he's absolutely buzzing.
It was a game with that Pie Face dominated throughout.
Welcome back to the Modus Super Series. Before the break, Scott Taylor with 2 Tub Plus finishes, including a 108 to win his match against Marvin van Velzen by 4 legs to 1. The best performance of his evening so far. Gary Stone has put in the top number of tonight's session, a 97.91 en route to a 4-2 win against the aforementioned Scott Taylor. And he takes on Shane Haywood in this next match. A win for Stone here would put him onto 4 points and would put him to within a couple of Scott Taylor and Mark Dudbridge respectively in this group.
Leg, it's Shane
We
to throw
sense that
first.
Gary had to win every single match this evening, and if he wins this encounter, he is halfway towards completing the cards.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a really tall order. Highest average in the Group B for Shane Haywood came up against Gary Stone.
60.
In that third game, that's when I really began to fear for this man in your picture. Shane Haywood had lost his opening 2 games. It was a must-win game, we called it at that point. Shane Haywood was brilliant in beating Gary in that match, and that's when we were seeing the facial mannerisms from Gary, like, why are your players doing this against me?
44.
Well, in his opening game, he was brilliant. Can he continue that trend?
Well, it's the Mario Balotelli, wasn't it? Why always me? But he's playing with glee, and he's playing free, and he's playing superb tonight.
It's almost like a yoga class at the same time. This time it's Shane Haywood behind him, just trying to do his stretches.
45.
You a big yoga man, Glenn?
Well, I can spell it. That's about it.
100.
I'm not very bendy. I'm not very flexible. And I've got my knees are shot these days.
135. Gary require
Stone's got 6 and
164.
164 to take out the opening leg against Fro. Not to be on this occasion, but as I say, he's got to play for a time. Not really cleaned it up to the degree that he would have liked. Still on a ton plus out upon his return.
Yeah, I understand people going on the 19s on the 1-6 over. If you missed the first dart, then surely you've got to then use the 20 in the centre of the board to get down to that 2-darter. But not punished there from Haywood, and plenty on time on the side of Gary Stone.
Triple 18 would have given him a dart at double 16. 74 remaining, so we'll head over for the 14s.
46.
Frustrating, yes, but a 2-darter. And if you'd have offered him that before a dart was thrown to break the throw, Shane Haywood, you'd take that.
58.
That's the mindset I feel Gary Stone should have. Big 20. good marker, is it? Just has to move her just a touch to the right.
40.
Interesting. Didn't
Shane, you
move
require
back to his position for the
130.
double 10. I always feel that's just a touch lazy.
Well, Stone was picking apart Haywood in this leg, but his inability to finish it off has given Haywood a dart at the ball,
Game
which he
done at
pins
first leg.
perfectly
Shane Haywood.
to nick that leg off of Gary Stone.
Second leg, it's Gary to throw first.
A haymaker
Game
from
on.
Haywood. And that could well put Gary Stone into the gravestone as far as his qualification
60.
chances are concerned.
Yeah, we question temperament, and that will certainly test that now, won't it? Because both players seem to be shaking it. I think Shane was saying, I was poor in that leg, but I've got away with it. And Gary was like,
100.
how on earth have I lost it? Gary has to just find his rhythm, find his direction, and
121.
fair play. It's a good response.
$140.
We've had some fantastic crowds on a Saturday night of late. Like I said, it's usually me sitting at home with a beer in the hand and watching
58.
the fan. I think it's been a brilliant series. A real combination of players who've won it before, experienced players, players on the up, the likes of
100.
Tom Sykes. Just been another fantastic series.
The Super Series carried on as we head towards the end of 2024, the end of our
40.
second
require
whole calendar year here at
161.
the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. Well, it was the 130 in the previous leg. Is it the 161 here? He has a look at the score of Gary Stone. He's caught in two minds. But he decided to go route one,
136.
and perhaps that indecision led to a bit of inaccuracy.
I thought it was the right decision. Like I said, this match has turned around very quickly. Stone
50.
dominated the first
Junior
leg,
required
fluffed his
25.
lines with a couple of missed darts or a double. Shane Haywood has punished.
$9.
However, Haywood will be wary of the fact that this was the pattern of the previous leg where Gary Stone dominated in terms of the scoring of the leg, was unable to pick it apart and finish his opponent off.
58.
And Haywood managed to
Shane, you require 16.
pick the pocket of his opponent. If he misses free here, then Stone is going to have a ton plus finish of his own.
Game Sean, the
He actually
second
looks
leg.
really
Shane
solid on
Haywood.
his doubles. I didn't anticipate any such issues there. Like I say, this will really test Gary.
Third
he
leg, it's
was
Shane to
awesome
throw
in that
first.
first game. There's the first real shake of the head.
Game on.
A real big fight back win here for the Scotbridge, right up against it. Shane's got the darts, even if we go the distance, so it's very much advantage Wales.
121.
You mentioned Shane Haywood's proficiency on the doubles. If at times he was outscored by his opponents yesterday, in fact, he had the lowest running average of all five players on Thursday,
46.
83.36. He managed to dig himself out of jail with some decent enough doubling stats. 11 hits from 34 attempts over the course of his evening yesterday. That
100.
correlates to a 32% success rate, 32% hit rate on the outer ring, which only Scott Taylor
55.
could have betted on the opening night's worth of action.
$60.
And he has got full control of this game, Shane Haywood.
$60.
Well, Henry, we're in game 5 and no real idea which two are going to qualify alongside Marvin van Velzen, but Haywood's doing himself a big favour here. Stone hasn't recovered from those early misses in leg 1.
140. Shane, you require
This could be a
80.
potential 14 darter hit.
I'm also thinking leg difference as well. Will that play a part tonight?
24.
Well, that's a bit of a mess.
He's going to have to spur one upon his return.
45.
But
Shane, you require
you'd feel
56.
like he's got six from here with Stone on 155. tops. Double 10 for 3-0 lead. Does it go? And can Gary Stone hit as hard as Haywood did a couple of legs ago?
You may think I'm crazy when I said part of Gary Stone's probably said, just put that away, put me out of my misery, because after 15 darts and I'm still on 155, I don't deserve to win this leg. In reality, going back to this double 5 here,
Shane, you require 10.
this is not a gimme under the circumstances. Normally solid on his doubles, but for, you'd feel an unassailable lead. That's a cracking dart. Haywood leads 3 legs to 0.
3-0 to the goods. It cruise control of the contest.
4th leg. It's Gary to
Gary
throw
Stone
first.
stares into
Game
the
on.
abyss. And staring down the barrel here, you feel, with defeat here towards elimination. His record in terms of qualifying for finals night has been a bit of a mixed bag in the past. 3 from his previous 6 appearances here at the Live Lounge.
135.
It's not a record a man of his quality you'd really expect.
We said there's going to be some big hitters who are not going to qualify for Saturday night. We said this on Monday morning. It's looking like Team Scotland are the 2 big names for me, and Gary Stone and Jim McEwen.
Well, former champion and somebody who sets their sights on being a global champion.
44.
Come the end of the year, it'll be the number 2 seed for the tournament, Gary Stone.
135.
One of those free agents in the game that really has taken advantage of the added opportunities that players have got in the amateur system with the WDF, the ADC, the
40.
Super Series, every system that he's had the chance to play and he has utilised.
95.
Yeah, on the flip side, though, it won't feel like it for Gary Stone. If he could come back and win this game, you'd expect him then to go and see out the rest of the other games.
140. Gary require 114.
It's just when you're 3-0 down, you think the whole world's against you. He hasn't recovered from the mistakes early doors. And like you said, you can tell exactly how he's feeling. There's no hiding the fact with Gary.
53. Shane, you require 142.
Well, the 130 really did change the complexion of the game, but Haywood isn't going to find a 142 to win it here. And so Stone will return for 61 to bring it back to 3-1 and to just give himself a glimmer of hope,
44.
not just in this game, but in terms
61.
of qualifying through. Tops to save it.
Game shot on
He
the
only
fourth
had
flag.
one dart.
Gary
He only
Stone.
needed one dart. Gary Stone, by the barest of margins, is
Fifth
just
flag.
about in
It's
the
Shane to throw
equation.
first. Game on.
Yeah, if it does go the distance, this man in your picture has the darts. 2 in the last 3 legs. And with darts like this, you can see the response behind it from Gary Stone.
139.
In reality, Gary will have to knuckle down and try and match the 2 treble visit. You can have all the
41.
talent in the world. It's those other bits as well. They're the bits you can't teach. He's a proper fighting away here with
125.
Fair play to him. Now averaging the mid-80s, but when was the last time we saw Gary Stone average low 70s?
43.
Well, it's been a downturn in performance here for Gary Stone, and it may well be the downing of the Scot here. Haywood, 6 darts on 237, and he is running towards the finishing line. A wide smile on the face of Gary Stone. Almost as if this is so typical, as if this happens oh so often to me. And why is it happening again to me?
121.
With
Shane,
his
you
fate
require
in his mind
57.
seemingly sealed, he decided to go for the blind 180. But this is for an 11 darter to win the match for Shane Haywood. He's got 2 darts at tops to seal a 4-1 win. It would put him on to 6 points in the group. It would put him very much in the picture. And he finds a
Game
double
shot and
10
the
for a
match.
dozen darter
Shane Haywood.
to get the job done. Shane Haywood beats Gary Stone by 4 legs to 1. It means that Gary Stone is 4 points behind with 4 points left to play for, minus 10 in terms of legs difference. As for Shane Haywood, who has a conversation with Jack Garwood, the referee, about the match that we've just witnessed, he finds himself on 6 points, a solitary leg behind Mark Dudbridge and a qualification spot on legs difference. And so at the halfway point of the night, Marvin van Velzen is through on 10. Taylor, Dudbridge, Haywood have all picked up a win apiece on 6. Gary Stone on 2. It is going to be a battle royale towards the finishing line. And coming up after the break, a game which could potentially be so crucial in terms of that qualification mix. Scott Taylor and Mark Dudbridge, they will go toe-to-toe with the winner of that match, moving on to 8 points.
Start from the young man. Right. We're on youth champion. What a response that is from his father. Back-to-back 140s. Siding leg of 7. 180. My goodness, back-to-back 180s. Well, we've seen 2 9s in last year's Modus League. We've seen a couple of 10s. Haven't seen a 9 yet in the Online Darts Live League. Double 19. Double 12 for the 9. And he gets the 9. What a way to win.
B. Group B contains the 5 players. 3 progress to Saturday's final.
60.
Of course, that emphasis is on qualifying for Saturday night's final, because the the runner-up, and the winner of the 3rd and 4th place playoff will get their crack at Champions League.
180.
Trying to get their hands at £7,000 first prize.
45.
Some of you on the forums are here.
180.
Oh, welcome back, Martin. Where have you been? Where did you go?
100. Martin, you require 141.
Double 12.
Game
Absolutely outstanding
Martin
from
Adams.
Martin Adams as he hits a 9-darter.
Welcome back to the Modus Super Series. 5 games played, 5 wins for the players to the left-hand side of the draw bracket, which means it's been a very level-pegged night here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. Marvin van Velzen was looking to go through the car, but he hit a bit of a rock when he lost 4-1 to Scott Taylor in Game 4 of the evening session. He's on to 6 points. He's in a decent enough position to progress through. Behind Van Velzen, who is top of the table, on 10 points. Well, it's a bit of a race for positions 2 and 3. Van Velzen, you can see there, 10 points to his name. Taylor, Dudbridge, Haywood, all with 6. Gary Stone cut adrift at the bottom with just a solitary win to his name as we enter the final quarter's worth of action of our quota here in Group B. And it kicks off with a big meeting between 2 players who occupy the final 2 qualification spots. Mark Dudbridge and Scott Taylor going toe-to-toe as we begin the second half of the night session here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. And this meeting yesterday was perhaps the game of the week. Dudbridge averaging 104.79 in a 4-1 success against Taylor, who himself averaged just underneath the ton. If it's anything like their match yesterday, then we are going to be in for a cracker.
First leg, it's Mark to throw first. Game on.
He's pretty always all smiles, Scott Taylor, isn't he? He went from that super angry Scott Taylor on Tuesday to super happy. But this is a massive game.
99.
That defeat for Gary Stone. I mean, he can only get the 6 points now, and when we look at his legs difference. So each game between Haywood, Taylor and Dudbridge
91.
is going to be massive.
It's going to be all about those mini shootouts, those mini battles between those players you feel from here on in, which is going to make the big difference in terms of who qualifies
100.
and who misses out. Scott Taylor, you'd say, over the course of 5 days has done enough to qualify through, but it's not just as clear-cut as playing well and you get the results.
Yeah, I agree, Henry. There's another twist to the story that
78.
despite playing marvellous all week, he actually doesn't qualify because that win there for Shane Haywood. I'm guessing for Scott Taylor, that game between Stone and Haywood, he would actually preferred a Gary Stone win. Or is he just the type of mentality that a champion is, of just focusing on your own games?
Well, the fixtures for the rest of the night we'll talk about in the next
Scott,
leg.
you
Taylor
130.
has already taken out a 136 and a 108 tonight. Is he going to add a 130 to the mix? Double five. Supersonic. Super good.
Taylor.
Super Scotty Taylor. The little fish goes to break the throw of Mark Dudbridge and lead 1-0.
Scott to throw first. Game on.
And now he really is building up ahead of Steve. And he is one of those players that will remember head-to-heads against players. And he'll know he owes Mark Dudbridge one after what happened yesterday.
He threw the first dart on Monday morning.
140.
And the way Scott Taylor is playing, will he be throwing the last dart come Saturday night? His finishing, when he sees a 3-digit combination, you just fancy it every time. We can reel the numbers up. Pick a number. And he's checked it out this week.
Well, these are the fixtures for the rest of the night. After this, Shane Haywood plays Marvin van Velzen. Gary Stone up against Mark Dudbridge. Scott Taylor then plays Shane Haywood. The final game of the night looks like a dead rubber between Van Velzen and Stone. So the 3 fixtures after this one, which holds key weight, could be ultra important. But this from Scott Taylor is super special. The 130 in the previous leg got it done in 12. He's left himself on 101 after 9 here.
60. Scott, you require 101.
Yeah, I don't even tell you what the averages is right now because... Beautiful setup play. He'll take
Mark,
that.
Potential
Potential 13 dart. It was the game of the day, as Henry mentioned. This is equaling it, if not better.
65.
2 trials left after 12, 24. And this were 2-0 lead. When it comes together, it comes so easy for Scott Taylor. He leads by 2 legs to 0, averaging in excess of 115.
Third leg, it's Mark to throw first. Game on.
26 starts to open up a 2-love lead, the equivalent of 2 13-dart legs for Scott Taylor, to get himself to what could well be the halfway mark of this match. And if he wins this big, Glenn, not just will he be on 8 points, but his legs difference could get to a point where
91.
He'll feel like it's impossible for anybody else to catch him, particularly Mark.
Yeah, it's proper dart at the moment, isn't it? He'll take a 4-3 win right now. I think the 2 points is most important, but we can sit here looking at all these
61.
numbers and the importance of legs difference could be. But just enjoy him while he's playing like this. And this explosive
140.
way of playing the game, he has to become a main contender if he does get that qualification tomorrow night. We already know the first fixture, Kurt Parry will play Anton Osland, and I think it'll be just big game after big game.
140.
The big hits follow big hits. I actually bumped into Kurt Parry on the way into the building this evening. He drove back from Wales early this evening. I'm sure the last thing he wanted to see when he drew up in the car park was my face first and foremost, but...
I thought you were going to tell a really good story that you made it about you again. It's just... I don't know how many times
57.
we have to tell you, Henry. If you're going to tell a story, it's not about you.
But he's had a couple of days with the family. That's better. Travelled down with his partner and now
83.
resting and
Mark, you
relaxing
require
ahead of tomorrow evening's
146.
final.
Henry, honestly, I think one of the best Modus Super Series as we look at this finish here from Mark Dudbridge. We are being spoilt.
120.
Well, you know what that means. Scott
you
Taylor's on a
require
100 plus finish.
102.
This means one thing. Look at the eyes, the determination, the snarl. Needs a treble on the bull. For double 11.
91.
About to say add that to the
Mark,
collection.
you require 26.
Clips the inside wire. Both players missing a dart for a big ton plus check out.
Game shot on
But
the
Dudbridge
third leg,
mopping up
Mark
on the
Dudbridge.
double 13 to bring it back to 2-1 and just ask a question of Scott Taylor.
Yeah, going back to
flag, it's
Kirk
Scott
Parry,
to
he
throw
said he was bringing
first.
his family up.
Game
I
on.
think he's got a few friends making the journey. I think that's really sensible, by the way, he's come tonight. My fear was he was doing a Jamie Owens and coming back on the day. And you've got to
57.
take that into consideration, the travel. I knew he'd had that hotel booked for the week, so maybe just kept the room open. So a really sensible decision. And yeah, for me, one of the great Modus Super
55.
Series performances in that group. I thought it was absolutely unbelievable.
Well, he'll be hoping to check into Champions Week tomorrow night, will Kurt Parry. In fact, all the 6 players will be hoping to make it through and hope to have their RSVP, their
60.
invitation in writing to Week 13 at the beginning of December. Have you got your invite to Week 13 yet, Glenn?
140.
No. Bringing in the big boys, aren't they?
100.
Champions Week, and they're bringing in Chris Mason, Paul Nicholson, and Chris Murphy. What a dream team that is.
Otherwise engaged, Glenn. That was the problem.
42.
At times, this week, Scott Taylor was enraged, but he very much is engaged with the task. Is the
59.
former champion. Okay, his foot's gone off the throttle in comparison to the rip-roaring heights of the first couple of legs, but he'll still feel like he's got Mark Dudbridge exactly where he wants him, but he'll want to keep him at arm's
95.
length.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree with that. I think he's at a bit of a worrying time here. And a little bit of panic could set him because he's on throw, struggling to find that incredible scoring that he had. That is why he's a champion.
140.
And speak with just been a masterclass of finishes in answering the next leg. What is the greatest finish you've seen on that stage? I asked Chris Murphy earlier. We were both in
99.
total agreement with the same
Scott, you
one.
require 85.
Tops.
45.
Oh,
Does it go? And this game may
Mark, you
well have a
require
sliding doors
70.
moment here.
Absolutely. Because he's cool, he's patient, he's calm. If you use the word experience, takes his time, never once taking his eyes off that double 16.
38.
Width of
Scott,
a
you
wire.
require 40.
How many times have we said this over the years? Tops for Taylor. But it's double 10.
Game
And
shot
there
on
could
the
have been a
fourth
real
leg,
danger there
Scott
that his
Taylor.
2-leg lead, which he had accrued in next to no time, could have evaporated away just as quickly.
Fifth flag. It's Mark to throw first.
Yeah, mightily impressive.
on.
Excellent finishing again. And your best finish ever on that stage?
Yes, I'm going to go cliche.
95.
Sorry to be boring everybody. But it's Andreas's 1-2-1 checkout against Cameron Crabtree for me.
Who?
135.
What was the unanimous decision by me and Murph?
If you didn't say Andreas Harrison's 1-2-1 checkout, then you're both wrong.
Andreas Harrison.
121.
To win him a title, when his opponent has just served up a maxi to leave double 4,
140.
that takes something. Oh, yes, it takes something. There's a word in my
99.
mind. There's a word in my mind, but I cannot say it live on air.
$56.
Well, Taylor provided us with the little fish to start the match. Can he win the match with the big
145.
fish?
Scott, you require 170.
Wouldn't be typical of the way he's been finishing tonight, but Mark Dudbridge just quietly
100.
and effectively
Mark, you
getting on
require
with his
41.
job. This to reduce the deficit to 1. Double 16. Hit the wire on the last time. This is a big dart.
25.
Not up for the challenge
Scott,
this
you
time. And
require
Taylor
70.
back to win the match.
And this for 8 points, and this to put himself in such a privileged position.
30.
It wouldn't have sent him through,
Mark, you
but it would have
require
been as
16.
good as.
Yeah, and the experience of Scott, I think he knew the importance of that one. And his reaction tells me he thought it was in when he let go.
No score.
But he's going to get another
Scott, you
chance.
require
Big moment
40.
here for Scott Taylor. Exceptional finishing. Massive scoring. Determination.
Game
And
shot.
possible
And the match,
qualification.
Scott
Now
Taylor.
that is a terrific win by Scott Taylor. He started the night with a disappointing defeat to Gary Stone, but boy has he bounced back, and that is a really, really big win over the very likeable Mark Dudbridge, who's playing his part in a fantastic Group B. The numbers were staggering early doors, but in the end it was a 97.17, and just add the collections. This time the highest checkout was 130. Very, very impressive. The big games keep on coming. It's Shane Haywood up next against Marvin van Velzen.
Welcome back to the party in Portsmouth here at the Modus Live Lounge.
And he was right.
Van Velzen's had opportunity, but it's Steve West that takes his opportunity.
Does he get one this time? The jury's out. Is the double in? Listen to that! And Jimmy Van Ski is still alive! He's made it! And Marvin van Velzen!
Jimmy Van Ski probably felt he's already been out already tonight. Surely not again. Oh, Jimmy! It's a wry smile. What a finish! What a man! What a response!
Of the 5-time weekly champion. It's Jimmy Van Ski who makes the final! Are we, Jimmy? You bet we are! One leg to see who the champ is. Yes, he can! Marvin is the man!
Marvin van Velzen!
Time for the champ. Marvin van Velzen back in action here at the Modus Super Series. He takes on Shane Haywood in our seventh match of the evening session. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, ain't I, on this Friday night. Game 7, Haywood against Van Velzen. For Marvin, he's on 10 points. He's been comfortably through throughout the course of the evening. But for Shane Haywood, if he wins this one, then he'll move on to 8 points, level with Scott Taylor. And it means that Mark Dudbridge will be forced out to bat against Gary Stone and forced out to win. Otherwise, he will be eliminated. And what looked like a very tight race for qualification would end up being over with a couple of games to spare.
Yeah, that penultimate game of the night is standing out. Scott Taylor against Shane Haywood. Looks relaxed.
First leg, it's Shane to throw first.
Very important to see
Game
the
on.
disappointing Marvin van Velzen when he lost his unbeaten streak in this Group B. That was clearly what he wanted. And you don't, I guess, Henry, you don't want to go into tomorrow night on the back of a disappointing couple of defeats. So Marvin will be giving everything. And I think Marvin had that 106 average on day one, and maybe the priority right now, if he can just bang in a real top average, that'll just top off a fantastic Group B.
Well, he's doing everything that he needs to do, and I do feel like tomorrow night you'll see a different version of Marvin, like we've seen from him in the past on Saturday evenings. He comes alive to the sound of the music and to the sound of the fans. But Shane Haywood is flicking a bit of a fuse here. Lost his first game. Recovering a 4-1 winning against Gary Stone.
140.
And it's a real measured, calm performance from Shane. Hit that 130 from the get-go. In fact, our last two games have started with 130 checkouts.
26.
Yeah, you were chatting to me about Shane Haywood on Monday morning. He was the one player I hadn't seen up close and personal. Like I said, he has all the attributes, good character. Every dart is thrown with real menace, full concentration.
125.
Has he got the X factor star quality for Marvin van Velzen? Maybe 96. Not. But styles make fights, and this is an excellent start from both. Potentially 11 darter.
60.
Does it go?
Shane,
He's had opportunities to break, but Shane Haywood has kept Marvin honest throughout the course of the leg, and now he gets his opportunity. And he's going to get 2 at double 16. Great guide. Utilises it perfectly. It squeezes into the bottom corner, but Haywood one up.
Yeah, fantastic camera angle.
Second
just show
leg, it's Marvin to throw first.
Just displayed the
Game on.
eye line that Shane Haywood had. You could see the reaction from him and the importance of every double going in at the moment for the likes of Scott Taylor,
84.
Shane Haywood and Mark Dudbridge right now. Group C was full of drama. It may not have had the quality of Group B, but we went right down to the wire in that one. And in the end, it was a player who hadn't showed his real qualities until when it really needed it most. Is there going to be another twist in the tail here in Group B?
140.
Yeah, victory here for Shane Haywood.
61.
That's the way it's looking right now, and that's really good reading there for Shane Haywood. I know Mark Dudbridge will have something to say about that. But them three would be a wonderful addition to what is already a fabulous final tomorrow night. Can't wait.
Well, Mark Dudbridge should feel like if he doesn't qualify, it's been a major opportunity missed.
140.
But Shane Haywood, you have to give credit. He lost his first 2 games on Thursday night. And at that point, the alarm bells began to ring in this competition. But did it begin to ring in the mind of the Welshman, who has just come back, rolled with the punches, and really has built up a head of steam. He's looking to build up a 2-0 lead. Van Velzen first to finish on throw, but Haywood with a decent turn could become favourite for the leg.
95. Marvin, you require 140.
I like that play on 2-1-5. Nice symmetry to the finishers here. But that's awkward. Needs to find a treble to leave the tops. I guess there is the opportunity of going for tops.
6.
Couldn't slide it in, so Haywood with a good chance here.
120.
And he has been dangerous in this type of range tonight. He's already taken out the 130. He's scared another couple of finishes like this, but he's not going to take out the 120. And so Van Velzen, the parity for a level match, looking at 80.
Yeah, this is where he's improved so much over the past 12, 24 months. Now, it was a decent decision. It was quite a conservative way of going for this, but what can he see at that tops? He's having to move right to the right-hand side. I'm just looking out the window behind him. That is a long way away.
40. Shane, you require
It wasn't
60.
too far away in the end, the actual dart, but this for 2-0. And the way Shane Haywood's darts enter the board, that's a real marker, but he's unable to utilise it.
45.
And that could be a key opportunity missed.
Marvin, you require 40.
I just sensed that Haywood had to be immaculate on the finishes if he was going to beat Van Velzen. For Van Velzen to win it this week, that double needs to improve.
30.
That has been an area the tops and tens
Shane, you
not as good
require
as when he was
15.
last here. He's feeling it, Henry, isn't he?
He knows how key it could be, and by hitting the double 7, he's bust the score.
Marvin, you require
I think he gave an awful lot away before he even threw the dart. You could see that exhale of breath.
He tries to laugh it off, but he knows it's no laughing matter.
Cricam.
Crabtree's not here.
Game shot on the
The
second
double
leg.
5
Marvin
goes.
van
Van
Velzen.
Velzen levels up. He wins a scrappy leg.
Enlighten
Third
me,
leg
why
is
is
Shane to go
Cricam linked
first.
to Cam
Game
Crabtree?
on.
Move on. Haywood 1, Van Velzen 1. A big game in the race for qualification.
44.
Well, Van Velzen kicks off this leg with a max.
100.
Yeah, it's a real clash of styles, this one. The accuracy when he gets
100.
going. I guess you want to save it the best till tomorrow night. But at the same time, after that last defeat for Van Velzen, he'll just want to finish on a real high. But he'll go to
60.
tomorrow night as one of the big favourites. Marvin Army, you are needed. Get your tickets. We want you here because you create a wonderful atmosphere.
100.
Simply scan that QR code. Small booking fee. Come and make the night special.
And just remember, for £5, Glenn Dunn will pay you to have a photograph
Marvin, you
with him.
require 121.
Once again, this type of finishing, so akin, using that treble 7 like many players are
81.
doing. And look where he's left. It's just an area at the back of my mind that needs to improve. When he won that Series 8, tops were just lethal. Just give him the leg now.
81. Marvin, you require
Hasn't been the
40.
case this week.
It's not always been academic that the players race down to a
on
double
the
and
third
won the
leg,
leg, but on
Marvin
that
van
occasion
Velzen.
it was. Shane Haywood could have probably should be leading this game by 2-0, but he finds himself 2-1
Fourth leg,
behind.
it's
He
Marvin
finds
to the
himself a
reverse.
breakdown.
Game
And
on.
Marvin van Velzen has this game exactly where he wants it.
Going for a
100.
haircut and a shave in the morning. So if anyone's watching from Portsmouth, they can recommend a good barber. Maybe not the one Shane Haywood goes to, by the way.
140.
You can come to the same one as me because I'm getting my hair done tomorrow.
Maybe for one of the last times looking at it.
140.
There ain't much left there, Henry.
One World Cup left.
I don't want to just, if I'm going to give you some advice, some fatherly advice, just shave it off.
123.
I do not. No, I'm not shaving it off.
I know, but you look like Bobby Charlton.
91.
Right, you can call the rest of this match in. I'm going to have a sulk.
26.
Give it.
Marvin, you
but
require
can't take it.
170.
Welcome to the world of Henry Deacon as Marvin van Velzen wants to join the 170 party.
$134.
Wonderful, wonderful setup play. And I guess the other players, the main protagonists for qualification, will be delighted for a victory for Marvin in this game.
Marvin, you require 36.
And this to go one away. Another potential 13 darter.
Game shot on the
He's
fourth
looking
leg.
good right
Marvin
now,
van
free
Velzen.
flowing, aggressive, attacking those big scores and being
Fifth
deadly
leg,
on the
exchange
doubles.
to
That's
throw
been
first.
an issue.
Game on.
That tops in the previous leg, double 18. And before, from 1-1, quickly 3-1 up, 1 away, Henry.
Well, I think it says a lot about the improvements
59.
that Marvin van Velzen has made in a short space of time. This feels like a B-grade performance. He's still averaging a shade under 97, despite missing a load of darts at a double.
97.
He's got this ability now to go through gears, which he probably didn't have before. He is moving at an upwards trajectory at an attainable rate.
I mean, because you know what you know.
95.
Do you think his development tour and PDC World Championship Youth results, do you think that complement what he's doing here?
I think he's getting there. 16th for the development tour order of merit.
134.
And it's been a big sign of improvement. Marvin will be the first to admit this. The first to admit this. First time here, it didn't work out for him. He's admitted that. I think that was plain to see. But you know what? You have to give credit to people that work so hard on their game. They work so hard to improve themselves, to make themselves the best of their being. And do you know what? Marvin has worked so hard, so incredibly hard to turn himself into a proven champion. I doff my cap.
Marvin, you require 90.
Eloquently put there from Henry. Very aggressive again. It's bullseye for another marvellous win.
57. Shane, you require 122.
This to save it.
Yes, we've seen the 1-2-2 earlier from Mark Dudbridge. Are these the last 3 darts? He's making Marvin wait. Marvin may just choose now. You can see him deep in thought there.
82. Marvin, you require 33.
But for victory for the Dutchman.
And this puts Shane Haywood in an awful suit. He played Scott Taylor in his last match.
17.
But he's been given a reprieve in
Shane,
this
you
one as Van
require
Velzen
40.
spurred 2 to win it.
Yeah, I think he struggled a little bit with the time Haywood was taken
on
there.
the 5th leg, Shane
Fair
Haywood.
play to Shane. He's a good match player. Really strong, really solid.
6th leg, it's
Still
Marvin
very much
to throw
advantage
first.
to Marvin. He has
Game
the
on.
darts here. You can see him going through that same process that he'll use tomorrow night. Will he back up with a big score?
140.
Absolutely it does.
Just when Shane Haywood thought he was just off the ropes for a second, he finds himself back towards the canvas.
83.
And this is how fickle this race is, by the way, for qualification through. Because with that
125.
leg, Shane Haywood jumps above Mark Dudbridge despite losing the match. If he loses it 4-3, he stays in third position. Dudbridge will be a P4 ahead of his battle. His last game against Gary Stone.
This is looking like it's coming to the end.
140.
When he's finding that dart, we're expecting 180s. 3 in this game. 4 between them. High quality affair in the scoring stakes. Just some missed doubles at the beginning of the match.
84.
Van Velzen
Marvin,
is
you require
averaging over
96.
100. If you can check this out in 2 darts, it's another fabulous performance.
But a performance of high numbers, which, if the truth be told, is made to look so routine.
64.
When we say things like this, we say it as a compliment that he's doing something special, but it doesn't feel special because he's a special player that makes what for a lot of people be exemplary.
57.
Just feel like what they do on a
Marvin, you
daily
require
basis.
32.
For another 2 points.
$24.
Well, you could say no dramas, but the fact is missing match darts is a wry smile. But he will be back. Will there be pressure?
That's now 6 match darts for Marvin van Velzen that have come and gone in this contest, but Haywood is not providing any kind of opposition
36.
in this leg.
Marvin, you require
And so
8.
Van Velzen to finally claim the victory, get the W, double 4. Down for double 2.
Game shot.
Well, his
and the
scoring
match,
was
Marvin
absolutely
van Velzen.
sublime at times. The finishing, maybe at points, was a little bit of kilter. But for Marvin van Velzen, that's a 6th win from 7 matches. A salute, his traditional salute to the camera as he picks up 2 points. And for Shane Haywood, well, him and Mark Dudbridge are tied on pretty much everything now. 6 points minus 3 legs, 19 legs won. This is going to be an almighty battle towards the finish. Haywood's got one more game to go in match 9 against Scott Taylor. Mark Dudbridge's campaign ends with a game against Gary Stone, which we'll watch on the other side of this advertisement break.
Matthew Edgar has gone for the bullseye on 92. Please tell me, why have you gone this way?
Bit of safety.
Is that the correct way to go? His next dart would be 17 or treble 17. If he hits the single 17, he's saying he guarantees himself a dart at the ball. It's not quite guaranteed, but the percentage of chances of him getting a dart at the ball is quite high. Now, the alternative is going for the treble, so Matt's on 92. Raymond van Barneveld, I believe, was one of the first players to go the treble 20. His basically reasoning was, as a professional dart player, he backs himself with 2 darts being that good to hit a treble. If they don't hit it and they hit a single 20, this is where the next bit of dilemma comes in. Back in the day, they would have probably gone on for the treble again, okay? Nowadays, we don't really see that very often. The next shot with 72 left, 8, maybe 9 times out of 10 is 2 double 18s. I mean, look at the size of the double segment. This is another factor. It's big. The bullseye's tiny. That's the thing, isn't it? I think to myself, I would personally, if you're a good dart player, I think go the single 2 doubles. And then next thing you know, someone's gone the 25 route and I find myself calling game shot. Which route would you do on the 91s, the 92s, the 93s, the 94s? Should you go for it? Or should you lay up? Your opponent's on 212 points. This is a World Championship semi-final. The fans out there, they're all against you. You need something to get them on your side, perhaps. What would you do? Genuinely, what would you do in this situation?
I'd be going for it. Got to go for the bullseye.
And what's your reason behind that? Why would you do that?
Just got to believe in yourself. Give yourself a little bit of a G up. If you hit it, it's going to look incredible. And if you don't, then you've got time to sort it out.
Me, as somebody who likes me mathematics, I would probably say do the sensible thing, lay up. This is a World Championship semi-final. Jared, he wants to get the crowd behind him. So there's 2 options. You might be on 170 thinking about whether to go for it. Your opponent is also on 170 and you're thinking to yourself, he's a great dart player. He's in the World Championship semi-final. Is he really going to take out 170 under this pressure in this occasion? Probably not. So you decide to lay up. Now, we've seen examples of that in the past. I think Mensur Sulovic famously took out 161, I believe it was, against Van Gerwen when he chose to lay up. This happens quite a lot. Most of the time, your opponent is not taking out that 170 when they come back. So laying up probably is the best thing to do, but sometimes it backfires and then, well, fair play. Darts maths!
Marvin van Velzen got the better of Shane Haywood before the break here at the Modus Super Series by 4 legs to 2, averaging 95.29, hit 3 180s, and that average despite missing 14 darts at the outer ring. He's been comfortably through all night long. As for Shane Haywood, well, it puts him on the back foot. And actually, if Mark Dudbridge wins this game here against Gary Stowe by 4 legs to 0, then the man from Bristol will qualify through to finals night tomorrow evening. However, on the reverse, Gary Stone, who is about to begin his 7th match, can actually still finish on 6 points in the group. And he will take on Marvin van Velzen in the final match of the session. but he'd have to win both games handsomely if he is going to stand a chance
First
of
leg,
making it through. He's not out of the equation, although it would be a mathematical impossibility if this is a win for Dudbridge, and it'll effectively be a straight shootout between Shane and Mark for those spoils. Scott Taylor's in a very handsome position. His legs difference is +7. The worst that can happen to him is a +3 legs difference. Shane Haywood in his final game can only get to +1. Mark Dudbridge can only get to +1. And Gary Stone can only get to -2. And so Taylor is safely into the finals because he cannot be caught by Haywood and Dudbridge in terms of legs difference.
81. Considering
Mark Dudbridge needs to win this game 4-0. It was a really tight affair between them yesterday. It went the distance. But it was Dudbridge who got over the line in that one.
Gary required 98.
Gary Stone, feast or famine, Gary Stone. He looked a really dejected figure. Again, demonstrating his disappointment there, but his opponent's way back in the 300s still.
What you hope is the wheels don't fall off for Mark W. It was such a good start to the season. He played some excellent stuff this week. It'd be a crying shame if it's to come to an end with a bit of a low light. Tots of Stone
52
does not go.
Yeah, I think Dudbridge is in fine fettle right now if he can just get back on that practice board. I've played him on that World Senior stage as well.
Gary required
I think
20.
he looks as good as ever. Just needs to tidy up a little bit in his doubles. You could say the same about Gary Stone. I wonder if there was a thought in his mind there, Henry, to bust that Scott.
Well, Mark's been involved in legs before, where a standing start has then turned into a miraculous turnaround.
59. Gary required
Probably the most famous one of all, wasn't it?
Stone looking at double 5. Well, if Dudbridge takes this will be the most miraculous turnaround in a leg that we've seen at the Super Series.
I also predict Gary Stone will explode. He will explode.
120.
And Dudbridge was a whisk of a while away from exploding into life. Shake of the head from Stone. Up for the madhouse now.
That's 8 missed darts at a double.
2. Mark, you require 22.
Do you get the sense that stage is not for Gary Stone?
And there are stages in the game which just don't suit players. Now, the possibility of the Dudbridge 4... Well, he's going to have to now find double 3. But the possibility of a Dudbridge 4-0 to send him through is still on. He raises his hand, frails his hands up in the air by way of apology. Because he knows he should not have won that leg. Gary Stone was in a different postcode to Mark Dudbridge. It looked like Mark was still in our old shooter in Southampton whilst Gary Stone was strutting his stuff here at the Live Lounge.
96.
For Dudbridge, in a case of the tortoise and the hare, Stone left napping towards the finishing line and Dudbridge crossing it first.
121.
That was my favourite fable as a child, the tortoise
93.
and the hare.
I actually know how they feel.
59.
Where do you get your energy from, Henry, at 12:15 at night?
96.
I just love my job, Glenn.
You've moaned all night.
I love my job. The people I work with could be a different story.
I was happy when I walked in tonight. We all went out for a meal, the team.
Yeah, and you didn't invite me, so that would automatically put me on the back foot.
95.
Move on, Henry, move on. Something that Gary Stone can't seem to do at the moment. This is what he can do. That's what will frustrate him. That's why at times he looks dejected.
Mark, you require 121. $45.
Now, Mark Dudbridge gets the 3 legs in this game. Gary Stone will be eliminated.
Tops for double-double.
54. Mark, you
Toil
require
and
76.
trouble. And in the week of Halloween on the spooky series. Look at the reaction behind. For a 2-0 lead.
60. Gary
To be for
require
Dudbridge,
40.
and so Stone will return for tops to level this game up at 1-1. And it mean that this race of qualification will stretch into the next game no matter what.
20. Mark, you require
13
16.
darts. Missed at a double for Gary Stone in this game. Well, how have we
Game's
got
on the
here?
second leg.
Dudbridge is
Mark
2-0
Dudbridge.
up. But there's no way he should be anywhere near this position.
Third leg, it's
But that's
Gary
why.
to throw first. Game on.
And Dudbridge has missed 7 at the outer ring himself.
97.
He's halfway towards qualified through because a 4-0 win's enough.
$81.
For Gary, 1 more leg loss here and he is out.
83.
Shuley goes downstairs.
97.
I had that little bit of criticism that he doesn't often use that transition down to the 19s. Likes to persevere.
100.
Ton behind. Remember a 4-0 victory here for Mark Dudbridge.
100.
That was the target.
$45.
And has the opportunity here to get that double breaker through, to eliminate Stone, and would give Dudbridge the darts to send himself through to the final.
42.
But he's handed that advantage straight back to the Scot. Great setup.
136.
That hasn't been the problem though, Henry. 13 missed darts at doubles being the issue. He's on his favoured dart. That is tops.
44.
Like I said,
Gary
if
require
Dudbridge pulls
40.
this one out of the bag, then I give up. 15 missed dart at a double.
20.
Oh, Gary.
Mark, you require 137.
If this goes, you may not see a reaction from Mark Dudbridge, but I think you would have seen one from Gary Stone.
I fancied it to go as well.
47.
Just the way this crazy
Gary
game has gone on.
require 20.
He's almost
Game
tried
shot
to
on the
raise a
third
smile.
leg.
He
Gary
finally
Stone.
wins a leg. But what it does mean is Mark Dudbridge cannot qualify here.
Fourth leg, it's Mark to throw first. Game on.
He'll have to wait for the end of game 9 to realise his fate. I mean that Scott Taylor would need just a solitary leg in the next game if Mark was to win this particular match by 4 legs to 1.
22.
Well, they're possibly his worst 3 scoring darts. That's on the back of getting his first leg in this game as we look at that. Very upright throw. That hasn't changed much over the years for Mark Dudbridge.
100.
Maybe that's the reason for the longevity in the game. And you'll see Gary has one of them ones where it's not the full follow through of the arm. Very Gabriel Clemens.
86.
Do you remember the Mark Dudbridge blonde highlights in his hair?
No, Henry.
108.
Well, that's a vote for his highlight wheel.
58. Mark, you
121
require
for a 3-1
121.
lead.
May just stay there. Well, he's gone down. He wants to join the party of the
96.
masterclass of big finishes. And why not with Gary Stone way back on 335? And I predict a 180. We talk about players wearing the heart on the sleeve.
121.
Is there a bigger one than
Mark, you
Gary Stone
require
on that stage?
25.
There's a saying in sports, sometimes you
It's on
can
the
want
fourth
it too
leg, Mark
much.
Dudbridge.
And that is the end of Gary Stone as Dudbridge picks up his third leg.
Fifth leg, it's Gary
You know
to
how
throw
hard he
first.
tries. He's got a
Game
real,
on.
as you say, heart of a lion, heart of a tungsten terrier. You almost feel for him because you know how good he is, and he's a real
57.
good guy, is Gary. Really relatable, really good person to get along with.
No, you're absolutely spot on. And it's not almost feel for him, I do feel for Gary Stone. I've been in his corner for many years. I purposely didn't see he was going to win it this week. Purposely didn't champion him. And I thought that could be the difference. But I think you've just hit the nail on the head, Henry. I really do. And I think maybe just once on that stage, just too much.
108.
Well, this has been a scarily good game in the scoring stakes. That's the fifth 180 of the game.
100.
But it's been a match that's been plagued by missed doubles. Dudbridge will feel like he's got 6 from here. Gary Stone frails his arms in the air. Well, if Dudbridge wins this game 4-1, he will be in tungsten
Gary require
purgatory.
164.
You'll be in the waiting room, wondering
89.
and awaiting
Mark,
his
you
fate.
require 98.
To put himself in a fantastic position. Treble 19 is needed. 4 tops. What
It's
a way
your
to finish.
undermatch,
A
Mark
bizarre
Dudbridge.
game. Ups and downs. Almost apologetic throughout that game. Gary Stone, 1 from 17 on the doubles was the big thing. And Mark Dudbridge just couldn't believe his luck. And Mark Dudbridge has been an absolute credit to himself. World Seniors darts this week. Huge amount of respect. But Gary Stone is out. He will not be qualifying for tomorrow night. But Mark Dudbridge is in a fantastic position as we look at the numbers. But the one startling one, 5% on the outer ring, 1 from 17. That was to the detriment of Stone. Dudbridge, he's in a great position. Biggest match of the night coming up next. It will determine qualification. It's Scott Taylor versus Shane Haywood.
Hi there, welcome back to the Modus Super Series, where before the break Mark Dudbridge beat Gary Stowe by 4 legs to 1, which means that he is within a leg of qualification through, because if Scott Taylor picks up a leg here against Shane Haywood, then it is all over. It'll be Van Velzen, it'll be Taylor, it'll be Dudbridge, it'll be Ersland, it'll be Baker, it'll be Parry, they'll be competing for the jackpot on Saturday night. That the table, them the permutations, this the game you're about to see as Scott Taylor and Shane Haywood go toe-to-toe in our 9th game of the evening session here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. This was a match yesterday that was won by Scott Taylor 4-0. It was a comprehensive victory for Scotty T, who played with glee, played joyfully and played well. An average of 98.5, 4 from 7 on his doubles, including a couple of ton-plus checkouts. It's Bolton up against Wales in our penultimate match of the night. And for the penultimate time this week, Glenn Durrant is alongside me in comms.
Yeah, a thrilling week. Really roller coaster of a ride for many of the players, but it is a fantastic looking lineup. We just need to dot the I's, cross the T's, mainly to do with Shane Haywood, Mark Dudbridge. Still a very, very big ask. The fact that Scotty Taylor, this explosive player who can throw in an 11 darter absolutely any time, a proven winner on that stage, always seems to qualify for Saturday night.
100.
The fact he only needs 1 leg. This would be the upset of all upsets if Haywood can win this game 4-0.
Yeah, the reason why a 4-1 win for Shane Haywood would not be enough for him to go through is the fact that him and Dudbridge would be tied on every single metric.
11.
They'd be on 8 points. They'd both be on -3 legs difference. They would have both won 23 legs. The next determining factor
34.
is the head-to-head in the meetings between the pair. There's just 1 leg in it between the two, but Dudbridge has won more legs than Haywood, 7-6
83.
in the 2 head-to-heads over the course of the 2 days, and so that's why he would get the jump over Shane Haywood if we get to a tiebreaker scenario.
99.
Yeah, it's looking like a couple of second places, isn't it, for Scott Taylor, but very impressive in Group A.
60.
Extremely impressive in Group B, as he's saving that real winning feeling for tomorrow night.
59.
Well, the thing is, for Scott, the job is done, and he will know that the job is done.
Well, Henry, now you know that Jim McEwen can't win it this week. If you were asked the question now, who do you think will win it? Who do you think will be lifting that trophy tomorrow night?
I think every single player has got question marks over their name except for
44.
Kurt Parry. But I just wonder whether Scott's due another one.
11. Scott, you require 164.
And Shane Haywood here has hit 2 11s in the same leg. And it looks like he could be heading towards the cutting room as far
64.
as qualification is concerned.
Well, let me tell you, if the deciding factor tomorrow night was based on snoring, then Scott Taylor would win every game 4-0 tomorrow.
Well, he's not been caught napping in this first
58.
leg, has he?
Scott, you require
He'd be beauty
100.
sleep.
No, sleep. Looking for tops, unable to get there.
40.
Anyway, you need an alarm tomorrow because you've got to go and get your Turkish haircut.
Yeah, looking forward to it. You might also haven't had a shave today.
I just thought that was the Halloween costume you couldn't get off.
83. Scott, you require 60.
Tops for Taylor. And
Gets
that
on the
means
first
the
leg,
Saturday
Scott
night 6 have been confirmed because Scott Taylor, with that solitary leg, means that Shane Haywood has been
Second leg,
eliminated.
it's Shane to
He
throw
shakes
first.
his head, knowing of his fate. Mark Dudbridge is through, alongside the former champion Scott Taylor, the defending champion Marvin van Velzen. Anton Ersland and Scott Baker qualified this afternoon. And Kurt Parry, who has travelled from Wales this
80.
evening, back down to Portsmouth to play tomorrow night. He won Group A on Wednesday. They will be the 6 players that are going to be in action tomorrow for the finals, which kick off at 7:30 p.m. on the Super Series YouTube channel, where we will find a winner of our 8th week here in Series 9.
140. 57.
Yeah, I was just sort of asking myself if Shane Haywood knew the exact situation.
140.
You could see that reaction of the shake of the head. It told its own story.
$45. Shane, you require 141.
Well, it's not too little, but it's a case of too late.
89.
Yeah, such a decorated career for Scott Taylor. Former finalist of a Players' Championship where he only lost out to Michael van Gerwen in 2018. Challenge to a winner with darts like that. And right up there at the top of his accolades.
52.
Modus Super Series champion. Pegged back to 1-1 in this game.
Shane Haywood.
But Shane Haywood cannot qualify. The 2 non-qualifiers in this group will be that man in your picture, Shane Haywood
to throw first.
And Gary Stone.
Matthew Edgar laughed at me earlier this year.
Well, I quite like Matthew now.
36.
When I said that Scott Taylor could well be a man that could do special things in 2024. Admittedly, I thought it'd be in a Q school setting.
140.
But by winning this title, he really has propelled himself to major heights. It is a major title. Probably is the biggest title of his career. But I suppose the question is, as we head back to Q School again in January, is Scott Taylor going to be one of those players that people won't quite talk about because there's going to be the players that have dropped off tour? You're going to have the likes of John Henderson going there, the likes of Danny Jansen going there, and other such players. That he could be somebody, Andreas Harrison, another one. Could he be the type of player that could just go down in people's minds but should not be discredited,
55.
discounted, or forgotten?
Is he going? I mean, he's openly admitted he's not playing darts, he's not practicing, he's not playing local stuff, he's literally playing Modus Super Series. That doesn't sound like preparation for Q School.
And I suppose we should say as well, this is a Challenge Tour weekend and Scott has decided to play here.
Well, I'm not surprised looking at his Challenge Tour record this year. I was really surprised. Hasn't played the last few events. His best has been a last 64, despite the fact he's throwing darts like that. Because
Scott Taylor.
Look, there's been many headlines of what's happened this week. Kurt Parry, stunning. Scott Baker dominating Group C. But the finishing of Scott Taylor this week, when he's wanted 100 or more, has been at times incredible.
That's his 8th tub plus check out of Group B.
100.
8 in 2 nights of darts. And he's throwing great.
97.
It's almost like you'd expect it as a player when you know you are hitting the heights of the finishing. It's almost that you see that's gone, you think happy days because you just know it's going to go. It's just the belief,
100.
the confidence, the psychology of this game should never be understated.
$55.
For Shane, this is the hardest part of a Super Series campaign when you know you haven't qualified and you have to fulfill your obligations in terms of legs and matches respectively. You're pretty much playing through the motions.
Yeah, you told that story last night. He was meant to play earlier on in the series. I have a funny feeling when he saw the list of players in this incredible week 8.
60.
Wasn't the best of decisions, was it?
You'll be feeling sick.
$47.
Well, Taylor's
Shane, you
left
require
himself on 160. Haywood looking at the 146. Not to be. And do you know what? I'm going to say it, Glenn. I'm going to say it. This goes.
You require
I
106.
fancy him for it.
This is why Henry Deacon's on the big bucks. Thank you very much. Please cut that social media. Henry Deacon
79.
copyright.
Shane, you require
Absolutely
102.
useless. The fact I've got to sit with him while he comes up with this cutting edge commentary is just...
Scott, you
it's
require
beyond me.
81.
But in all seriousness, I think we both expected that to go. Do we expect the ball to go?
47. Shane, you require 32.
Well, unfortunately, Matthew Edgar was otherwise unavailable. Double 16 for Haywood for 2-2.
No score.
Skims the wire, wrong
Scott, you
side, Taylor for the
require
break.
34.
The lesser spotted double 17. Awkward.
17.
Couldn't find.
Shane, you require 32.
Yeah, it's not the first time. I think he's the only
Game
person
shot
at
on
that
the
double
full flag,
17 this
Shane
week.
Haywood.
Shane Haywood in the double 16 bed. 2-2. Now effectively a best of three
Scott to
game.
throw first.
It just has that real feel
on.
now, doesn't it? The outcome is sorted now. Just get me off the stage. Going through the motions, you feel. But does Scott Taylor really want to go to
81.
tomorrow night on the back of a defeat?
No, but I don't think Scott's going to be one of those players that'll be overly perturbed by it either.
39.
I think he'll focus more on everything else that's happened. I think this last game will be not
108.
of relevance for him, but I don't think he'll lose sleep at night over this particular match, put it that way.
59.
He's in pole position now. He's got that grimace, he's got that menace, he's got that snarl, and he's got that scoring touch again.
Scott, you require
He's really
6.
beginning to shift through the gears here. Tops on 11 data.
40.
I think he fancied it.
Well, at times it's been cagey. Scott Taylor's just had a bit of a burst here.
133. Scott, you require 20.
Haywood leaves himself on the fish.
Game shot on
Taylor
the
takes
fifth
out the
leg.
double
Scott
10,
Taylor.
13 data to lead 3-2.
6th leg, it's Shane to throw first. Game on.
I'm not even trying to poke at you here, Glenn, not one bit. But in Shane's scenario, when
100
you're in a game where there's not much riding on it, what are these feelings like when you do go through those motions?
100.
I don't think any player, Henry, goes up there to lose a game. But I think the stuffing was knocked out of me. I think he arrived tonight knowing that that match with Mark Dudbridge was going to be really key.
121.
It's nice between them now, but you can just see that real fight that you have when you're on that Modus Super Series. You sense it's gone.
60.
But, you know, our players are very proud people. You know, they practice religiously, the integrity of the game. They know you can
38.
But it is difficult. You just sense it's just after the Lord Mayor's show this match. Probably both players just want to get off that stage.
140.
Some would say that after Dart 1, that was a 180 all day long. But Taylor keeps himself in the background and
58.
could pounce and strike here because Haywood going dry has allowed the man for Bolton 6 starts for the match, potentially. If he could set up here, and Haywood cannot take out the 104.
Shane, you require 104.
That looks awkward. Just couldn't creep into the treble there. That would have left double 16. And Scott Taylor
54.
to confirm that second
Scott, you
place.
require 76.
It's been another really good night of darts for Scott Taylor. His finishing's been immaculate.
56. Shane, you require 50.
But he's unable to finish off the job here. Double 16 for a level game and for a last leg decider.
Game shot on the sixth leg.
How many
Shane
times
Haywood.
has Shane Haywood had a couple of darts on that target and it has gone last dart in hand? And to the last leg,
final
we
leg.
go.
It's Scott to throw first.
Now, if you ask me that question again, now the fact the notes are last leg decider, I think both of them will just get that added motivation now.
91. $58. $140.
How Taylor would love to finish off a win. How Shane would like to depart with the gift of a win.
135.
He probably felt he'd blown him away after that 140 there, but it's a good response.
Well, try to score here, and it gives Shane
54.
Haywood a bit of a sniff, doesn't it, in terms of an opportunity?
He's got many qualities as Shane Haywood, but can he trump Taylor in this one? Good counter.
46.
He knew what he needed to do with that last dart. Very much in the balance this game.
And it hit the skids, didn't it, after that defeat to Mark Dudbridge in the opening match of the night.
140. Scott, you require 170.
Does it go, Henry?
Yes. No.
95. Shane, you
Right
require
down
84.
to the wire. Shane Haywood has shown all the character. I think he'll be at the Modus Super Series for many years to come, but he misses the big number. We question, does it mean anything to win this last game? We felt it was a little
44.
bit
Scott, you require
after the
75.
Lord Mayor's show, but you can see the disappointment there. He wants to win. Scott Taylor, does he really want to go into tomorrow night on the back of a defeat? Well, he's got 2 darts at double 12, but only
Game
needs the
shot
one.
and the
Scott
match.
Taylor
Scott
has been
Taylor.
very, very impressive. A player that openly admit he hasn't put an awful lot of practice into this week. He was involved in a tough Group A campaign, finished second, looked really good at times. And during this Group B campaign, he's looked dynamic. His finishing's been great. Another checkout over 100. He'll be a real danger. But for Shane Haywood, that's the end of the road. He doesn't qualify, but he's shown enough to say, Modus Super Series, I want to be back. We do move on to the final game of the night. It's top of the table, Marvin van Velzen, against bottom of the table, Gary Stone.
Next year, when that decision needs to be made, he's going to be 49. 1 year shy of the age of the seniors.
A very viable option. 2 players who are around that age. Well, what did he say about the 9?
Will we get the 141? Will the promise come true? Double 12.
Shot and the match.
Steve
West
West has won the match with a 9 dart.
Harrison has kicked off the last leg in perfect style.
It's everything, really. Oh, he's timing this well again.
180.
With a 9-darter, treble 19. Treble 15 leads double 18. Franchise Harrison to win the game in perfect style.
Hauled himself out of it.
Yeah, it was something that Henry actually said in jest that I was quoted as saying Jared Cole is one of the most, sounds a bit fishy, blending on my grandpa Mark Salmon.
Do you? On a 177 and a 180. He's on a potential 9-darter.
Come on, Jared. Yes, you beauty!
nice and high, and has now got the game back into his
100
own destination, and wow, the momentum is with him. Here we go.
108.
I wouldn't have said it.
41.
Don't jinx it. Yes. Yes! Double 12! Yes! Get in there, Leacock!
Well, I think it's fair to say that the blue touch paper has been well and truly lit.
108.
Sixth max of the match. Oh, hang about. Hang about. It's getting ridiculous now. Can Tommy Leishman give us back-to-back 9 darters in back-to-back games? He could, you know. He could, you know. Goodness gracious! Wow!
Tommy Leishman.
Back-to-back 9 darters! And so, for one final time, we head into the rendezvous of Group B as we sail into the late night sky with a meeting between the players at the top and the bottom of the group. Marvin van Velzen is the confirmed group winner. Gary Stone is going to be bottom of the pile, but not let that deter you from the fact that we have got one final game for you to enjoy on this Friday night of flying arrows here at the Modus Super Series. Van Velzen will go off the heavy favourite to beat the Scot, just like he did early on in proceedings on Thursday. A 4-2 win in that particular match between these two. But what
First
are we going to get
it's
in this?
Marvin to throw first.
Van Velzen will be the heavy favourite. He'll probably be the favourite or one of the favourites going into tomorrow night's final. What do we expect from this one, Glenn?
Very similar to the previous game.
108.
Lots of 180s. I'd love to see Gary Stone just put on a brilliant performance, and it'll be explosive.
97.
It'll be quick. That opening game yesterday, I just felt the first match, Gary Stone against Marvin van Velzen, didn't suit either player, but the winner of that game would probably go on and kick on, and that's exactly
44.
what the case was for Marvin, who will have his Marvin Army fans here tomorrow. He comes alive in front of a crowd. We'll see the thrills, we'll see the spills,
57.
we'll see reaction. Honestly, Henry, you know, it's I've been involved in a few finals now. And I'm super, super excited for tomorrow. And I think Kurt Parry was the foundation of that, the way he played in Group A. So just Scott Taylor, he could be amazing tomorrow.
He's been brewing to something, hasn't he, Kurt Parry, over the last couple of appearances
92.
here. A couple of semi-finals in 2024, looking across the finishing line for the first time. The former champion of champions. The reigning champion has got off to a good start here. He's left tops after 12 to take out the opening leg of this contest against Gary Stone.
108.
More like it, Gary.
Super start to this game.
Marvin, you require 40.
And we've talked an awful lot about this target area. Often slides into the Big Ten. Yeah, that
It's
reliant on the
first
5
leg,
has been the
Marvin van
one
Velzen.
success of the tops, 10s and 5s route. We're not often used to seeing him missing tops.
Second leg,
10s,
it's
I
Gary
can't
to
remember him
throw
hitting it
first.
with that second
Game
dart.
on.
And a lot of the time he is just drifting that Big 10. And once again, double 5 bails him out.
Well, Paul Nicholson speaks so often about
121.
secondary and tertiary doubles, that if you've got a primary target that you like, you need to make sure you're just as efficient on your second double and the third double you go with in a particular turn.
I mean, that's... If you're not a
6.
piffin, you know, you're just never, ever going to succeed in this game. Piffantastic.
Oh, I feel like I've got no job after tonight.
85.
Always a pleasure Always a pleasure working with you, Glenn.
98.
And I mean that from the heart, 100% from the heart.
It's nice that you've stopped bullying me, to be fair. I think I'll take real comfort in that.
Anyway, how will Gary Stone be feeling bottom of the group?
134.
Sick as a puffin. He really will be. I think he had high expectation. I think you nailed it. I think you got the right answer.
58.
I think he gets on that stage and maybe just tries a little bit too much because he did everything right. His preparation was great. It was a tough group. Still expected him to come through. His opponents are doing this against him.
108.
His job to react to it.
Require 164.
That's a strange one. I've just realised what he's left there.
The old Wayne Mardle, 180 to leave himself in the
99.
madhouse.
Marvin, you require 2.
Double one.
Game shot on the
2-0.
second
Break
leg.
it through.
Marvin van
The
Velzen.
weirdest 13 darter you'll see tonight.
Method in his madness.
Third leg. It's Marvin to throw first. Game on.
Those are the numbers, 107.36.
And I go back to something you said. You always feel the Dutch players will do really well in a
115.
Group B because they're used to playing very late at night. Their Super Leagues goes on till close to midnight. Marvin van Velzen, I think every time he's played in the
123.
Group B, he's looked $1 million. Tough group to top. And this time of the night to be looking as fresh as he is, averaging 108 at the moment.
140.
110.
And it is unique for others. And it was interesting last week, Danny Janssen was here. And I know that he was
44.
talking to one or two players. He's never played a B before. And he was asking, like, how do you deal with the day? So what do I do during the day to give myself the best possible outcome coming into the evening session? It is something new. The Dutch players got that advantage because they play a lot late. But Marvin has seemingly cracked the code. And he is cracking in some amazing darts. He's averaging 116 and a half here. And if he takes this out
Marvin,
in
you
2,
require
we may well
66.
be touching upon record territory. Tops.
46.
Not to be, but he does have time on his side.
You can see how it decimates the average, how important it is when you're looking at averages. Usually linked to immaculate finishing.
128. Marvin, you require 20.
3 missed started a double for Marvin van Velzen in this game. But his scoring power, an all-round game.
Game shot on the third leg.
And look, if
Marvin
there was
van
one
Velzen.
objective going to this match for Marvin, he had that 106 average on Monday, just to remind himself the ceilings there.
Fourth leg.
But
It's
thinking
Gary
going
to
to
throw
Saturday night, a
first.
totally different
Game on.
mentality to Scott Taylor, where we sense that doesn't matter what I do here, I'm through, I'll come back tomorrow. You sense that Marvin's like, right, I'm
140.
going to make a statement performance here because I am the champ.
Different players do things in different ways. And I think this group, if you think about the
140.
complexity of characters that we've got, has been a glistening example of that.
60.
Different rays or ways.
Glenn?
$96. $180.
Back on the 111 average at the moment. Just a reminder, the highest average of the series. 111.34, so he's bang on target for that. Gary Stone, just a little reminder.
He's averaging 104.
97. Gary, you
He's
require
going to get a chance at
121.
long last.
Yeah, when you're on a monster average, you actually want your opponent to check out here. 777 was the shot there.
83.
Well, if we walk out of this venue after this game, I'm staying away from Gary Stone.
$44. Gary, you require 38.
Double 19.
A funny shaped
Marvin,
darts,
you
those
require
knobbly darts of Gary
124.
Stone. Just couldn't get through that double 19. You almost sense that. Put me out my misery, Marvin. Treble 18 needed, though.
92.
We're giving him a
Gary
dart at the
required
ball. Stone
19.
looking at 19 to bring it back to 3-1. 2 darts at 2-8. Double 4 to save it. Doesn't go.
15.
And Van
Marvin, you
Velzen to
require
round this group
32.
off just like he started it with a win against Gary Stone. Has 3 darts in his hand at double 16. Up for double 8. And in it
Game
goes.
shot.
It's a
And the
win
match,
for Marvin van Velzen
Velzen.
by 4-0 against Gary Stone. The defending champion is into tomorrow night's final, having won 7 of his 8 matches. It was convincing, it was comprehensive from the chap who is back into Saturday night, looking to become just the 2nd champion to then qualify for the next subsequent Champions Week. And he wins his final qualification match in some style. An average of 103.66 in a 4-0 dismantling of Gary Stone, who himself averaged 94. Just the 1 win for him. Van Velzen is through alongside Scott Taylor and also alongside Mark Dudbridge, of whom we're going to have a chat with in a few moments' time to get his thoughts on what has been a crazy evening of Super Series darts. Welcome back to the Modus Super Series, where our Friday night's worth of action has been completed here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. A topsy-turvy night at times, not for Marvin van Velzen. He was comfortably through after his first win. Scott Taylor made it through quite comfortably in the end. And so the race was for that final position between Shane Haywood and Mark Dudbridge. And it was Flash who just about made it through in the end. 8 points to his name. Shane Haywood ends on 6. Flash making a flurry towards the finish, and you're probably wondering how Mark's feeling right now. Well, luckily, you can hear it straight from the horse's mouth, because Mark Dudbridge has joined us in the studio. Mark, many congratulations. I can imagine a whole heap of emotions are whirling through your mind right now.
Yeah, I guess so. I think I just feel like I've got away with things tonight with Gary Stone now. He should have been 2-0 up, let's be fair, and then my Modus series is over. But on the plus side, I've got to be the most dangerous person in the finals tomorrow.
You say the most dangerous person in the final. Is that because you feel like you got a little bit of a free roll because of how tonight happened?
Yeah, but the players who were playing me, they didn't know what they're going to get. You know, I'm like a bag of rebels.
I think it's a good analysis, and if you'd like my analysis, Mark, is we just look at you just taking out that game against Gary. So it was a bizarre opener to it, but listen, I called you the man of the day yesterday, I really did, and I thought we questioned it early on tonight, but I thought your scoring was phenomenal. I spoke to you yesterday, and very reminiscent of Scott Taylor, where you said, I don't know how I'm going to play. I'm not playing a great deal, Glenn. I don't know if it was a bit of psychology or whether you're not playing an awful lot. I thought you were terrific. I really did.
It's so kind of you to say, Glenn, and coming from you is amazing. I know you said some nice things, but I felt better yesterday than I did today. I was kind of having a bit of an out-of-body experience in it, and yeah, my arm wasn't going straight, and you know what it's like. I'm trying. I'm like, pull your arm right back and follow through. I mean, it really is as simple as that.
Don't do that. Don't think about that. Just play with instinct. Play with that. Yeah,
but that's where I was, but when I do play with instinct, you can see that I can batter the treble 20.
Your darts, you know, they look really balanced. They were sitting in the board nicely. You need to tidy up on your doubles if you're going to win it tomorrow night. But I like that little bit of bravado there. This is what you were doing. All right, smack bang in the 7 here. And we were just saying at the
but
time,
why
this
not
is the
do
bit.
that every time, innit?
Well,
really.
Yeah, but you're capable of doing it. And there's one word that we use an awful lot tonight, and that was experience as well. Henry pretty much nailed it. That you've been through every emotion in the game. Tomorrow night's a big night. They'll fear you.
You're dead right. You are dead right. I think experience. I knew in the background. We've been through the ringer, to be fair, and I think I didn't play well in the first match. To the back end of the second match, I started playing okay, but that was me being, it's going to come, and I allowed myself that gap, that little piece where you're not playing that well to let it happen. And I remember playing the big players from years ago, and they kind of done that. They let it happen. There was no stress, and I let it happen.
Good. Well, I'm really proud of you, and well done.
In terms of what you've been playing, we've been mentioning commentary about the events you play. How much have you been playing recently, and how much, when you're in an environment like this, sometimes you have to play a little bit on feel?
It's all on feel. I mean, I didn't. People won't believe it, but I didn't. You know, I've got a building company. I go to work. I look at my dartboard and I put Netflix on. That is the reality of my life. Then I play a game or a series like this, and I get beat, and I get the ump for 5 minutes. I wish that feeling would carry on but it doesn't, because I've got other priorities. Yeah. That would make me better. 100%. That would make me better. But listen, I remember playing Glenn. You alluded to it because I watched it back this morning from yesterday. I remember playing you on a pro tour. I think you had 109 average. When my shoulder was bad, you beat me 6-0 and absolutely run over me. And you said it would be lovely to play each other at the top when we were both at the top. That would be fantastic. I mean, you're a legend, man.
Listen, that's very, very kind. But you need that fire in the belly. And tomorrow night, it's got to put that fire in the belly for you, Mark, because, you know, just go back to what it really means to be a dart player. And you're right, when you're losing, it doesn't hurt as much as it used to. Tomorrow night's a big night for you, and what a night it could be for Mark Dudbridge.
Can I ask where darts is with Mark Dudbridge at this present moment in time?
Darts is a sideshow. For me, I'm doing lots of exhibitions with Jess Harding and Butlins and stuff like that, which I absolutely love, mine. Mm-hmm. You know, it's great fun, and there's no pressure on it. When I come into this series, you get into these little moments of pressure, and you don't know how to deal with it. When years ago, you would maybe not still win, but you would deal with the pressure. I get myself in a bit of a tiz. I think, you know. It's a lot of pressure, which you're not used to because you're not playing competitive enough.
It's almost like learning the trade again, isn't it, to a certain extent?
Well, it kind of is, and it's whether I want to or, you know, I know I'm a good dart player. I know I'm a good dart player, and I know I can hit 180s. I know I can do 90 darters, and I know I could do all this kind of stuff. But it's that consistency that's missing.
It's like, that could be my voice saying that, and I totally concur with what he's saying. But I wish I was playing tomorrow night, because I know the fire's not in the belly no more as a dart player. What I would say to Mark Dudbridge is my final words. Tomorrow night's a big night. Great crowd here, a wonderful trophy, a place in Champions Week. Come on, Dudbridge, find it.
There'd be a few 4-0 tomorrow night if you play tomorrow, does it, wouldn't there? Mark, just hold fire for a second. We'll have another chat with you in a second. But myself and Glenn are going to add up the rest of what's happened this evening and have a look at who else is through. And in particular, Scott Taylor, his evening in his week. His best, he's thrown in the best numbers of anybody this week, but there's still a couple of question marks.
Listen, he's not thrown a dart in anger whatsoever. He's literally come here on Monday morning and said, I don't know if they're going to go on the big one. And what he's done is just gradually got better. We saw this over-aggressive, just too emotional play early on, but he's providing some numbers. I mean, just look at that Group 1. I mean, my pick with the week was Anton Östlund at 16-1. So that is a massive, massive group. And two fantastic groups. I can't wait for tomorrow.
What did you make of the champ, Marvin van Velzen, tonight?
He's done a really, really good job. We found out a little bit about him this week because that stage recently has just been paved with gold. He's riding the crest of a wave. But he had just a little reality check this week. But to top that Group B. But listen, anyone will tell you the competition starts tomorrow.
I'm just looking over your shoulder, Glenn, because throughout the whole of the time you were talking, I just saw a massive smile on the face of Mark Dudbridge. Going into tomorrow evening, look, of course there's going to be that pressure because it is a big tournament, there's big money and a big place at Champions Week on the line. But it's the biggest thing for you tomorrow, the fact that you're just going to go out there, enjoy it with the family and friends.
Get into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, I'm not the favourite by a long shot, but I'm dangerous. And I've only got to be dangerous for 4 or 5 games and I'm going to win it. And that's the end of it.
Your pal Chris Mason played in a week here. And he played it down the whole time along and said, look, everybody else is playing more full-time than I am. I'm just a commentator that occasionally dips into play. Can you to a certain extent dip into a similar mindset of you've got that class, you've got that quality, but the pressure's on everybody else?
I don't really think of it like that. I mean, listen, if Mark Dudbridge Flash turns up, I know people have got a problem. If he doesn't, I'm not going to lose sleep over it.
Isn't it great to hear him talk like that? There's a beautiful balance tomorrow night. You know, young players on the way up, but that word experience is something we've used an awful lot tonight. Fascinating night, an enthralling week. Bring it on.
Mark, many congratulations. Great chatting to you and getting an insight into how things are going. We'll see you tomorrow evening. Many congratulations, Glenn. See you tomorrow night as well. We'll see you tomorrow evening, 7:30 p.m. on the Super Series YouTube channel to see how Week 8 culminates. But this evening we saw some flashes of brilliance, some flashes of quality. And you know what? In this game, class is always permanent. Bye from us.
Mark requires might not have long in this match. The way he's been playing, he's been very dominant, Mark Dudbridge. He's been very assertive on these kinds of finishes, and there's another one. The bullseye for Dudbridge. And that's what he gets. What a shot that is, and what a moment that might be. Each match has rattled along nicely as well. And this finish is rattling along nicely. Double 10. Oh, brilliant from Mark Dudbridge. Nice. The double. In the double. And Mark Dudbridge fends off the fight back.